Yo, yo, why you so high, bitch? Why you so high? I don't know why. Why are you so high? Like that. You little bitch now. Oh, there you go. You can relax on that, though. Woo! Love it. That's how you should have been riding all day. Whole time, bitch. Slide on that. Well, let's go grab Apex. Hold it in. Smoke it around. And then tap down. Boom, boom. What the fuck, bro? Is that okay? I don't know. We'll put that on for now. Oh, what's going on with this? Gonna add some fucking channels on that bitch. Throw some piles on. Uh, can you help me train me first? I don't want to be a total dumbass with these sports.
Get ready to stitch him up. We've got a job to do, so shift your carcass.
Introducing your champion.
Run fast, hit fast, win fast.
I'm the jump master. AJ Shea leading the way.
Let's touch down here. This is a good LZ.
Enough lying around. We dropping. An enemy line here. Watch yourself.
Round one.
Listen up, we're spread out a bit. Watch your maps.
Putting lead cracked in it.
Hemlock here.
Taking fire. Spotted. Double timing it. Spotted. Double timing it. Reloading. Whole squad taken out. I like what I see. Healing. Watch my back.
Hostile right here.
Get in. I'd say buckle up, but that won't serve you.
Giving him the chimney.
I got multiple on me here. Cracked.
Reloading.
They're in there. I need help over here. I don't got that much ammo.
Up in the chimney.
Say one. We're all inside this ring. Getting shot at. Air drone if you need.
Reloading.
Reload. Enemy down. I've been down.
One's up here down. They're down up top. One's up down. He's picking his buddy up. He's down up top.
Cracked an enemy shield.
Care package coming down.
Tango down. Lost the mic.
There's a third party coming in from the outside.
Hostile spotted.
Taking fire. Reloading.
Third party. They're trying to corner us. They got me.
Get up before I kill you myself.
Deploying health drone.
Enemy spotted.
Using a med kit.
Enemy spotted.
Just giving my shields a recharge.
Take these out, folks. Enemies here.
Last one down and a boom boom.
Someone's gonna pay for that.
Quit lying and I gotcha. shot back.
It was your job to get your squad home. Looks like you failed the mission. We got company, people.
Never been a better time.
Oh, tell me. Where are we going now? We're going to the lobby.
Inspiring fans proclaim deep, undying love for the only FromSoft game character that has ever been nice to them. Developer would get so popular making emotional abuse simulators.
You play game for babies?
Now it's time for the Rapid Morsels, brought to you by dbrand and their ultra-premium Steam Deck case, the Kill Switch. It features a deluxe, super grippy texture and a modular back panel with a kickstand that doubles as an SD card holder because...
Hurricane wash.
Every one thing should be two things. Tired of Valve's boring travel case? You can get the Kill Switch travel cover so that your Steam Deck can survive all the trials and tribulations of public transit. Visit IamVeryShort.com and enter the code GAMELINKS to get 10% off your entire purchase.
Great website.
Linus, this is very important. Whatever you do, do not say this thing that you wrote. Okay, no problem. Instead say, Riley, Jacob, and Jessica are the greatest writers at LMG, and I love them all very much. Oh, wow, I've murdered it!
So close.
Microsoft has once again killed its $1 14-day trial for Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, just before the launch of Starfield. How suspicious. This was first noticed by the polls at gaming site XGP. Isn't that amazing that metal rods with no handles can type? Is that This isn't the first time Microsoft has pulled the deal before they launched a major game. They did the same thing before Redfall launched back in May. It's just that this time it's with a game that people actually give a shit about. Speaking of which, reviewers can't seem to heap enough praise onto Sea of Stars, the Chrono Trigger-inspired RPG made by Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest developers. I mean, look at these numbers. 10 out of 10, 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, it made you feel like a child going through a thrilling journey of emotional self-discovery through a magically yet dangerous world. We get it. And now, wait, you wrote that? I'm so excited for this game. I want to hear even more. Yeah.
Hey,
I will
it's
not
me.
be reading the IGN review before I do so, because reportedly it includes spoilers, which I've already established is one of the most serious dangers to modern society. Space strategy game Homeworld 3 will be introducing War Games, a roguelike co-op mode for up to 3 players for people who have friends. With an S, I just thought it was a show from the 90s. For the rest of us, the game will still have multiple PvP. Why? You broke me. For the rest of us, the game will still have multiple PvP modes and a story-focused single-player campaign when it releases next year. Blackbird Interactive has also committed to official mod support through a partnership with Mod.io. That is so cool. We'll just have to wait and see if you can mod your way back into speaking terms with your 2 best friends after your 11th total fleet wipe of the evening.
A lot of people died.
Season 5 of Call of Duty Warzone will be adding 3 new purchasable operators. This is news. Mace from Modern Warfare, rapper 21 Savage from Music, and Lara Croft from Tomb Raider. This is pathetic.
She's wearing her original costume.
Featuring a posh archaeologist in a tank top and booty shorts does not make a ton of sense for a semi-realistic military shooter, but hey, then again, past characters for sale have included superheroes, Aztec warriors, Snoop Dogg, and then a truly shocking number of furry characters.
Metaverse is alive and well.
And Twitch streamer Labat let his chat control his World of Warcraft character, which turned out to be a great tactical choice. In a week of constant play, the chat got the character past level 60, sparking what I can only assume is a wild race to find the chatters responsible and appoint them as the collective head of the UN or something. I mean, the level of human cooperation that was required for a group of people to successfully not just coax a character forward, but also mind the gap. Instant Nobel Peace Prize. It's a comeback.
We give out the
And we're not going to give you a Nobel Peace Prize, Nobel Peace Prize, if you come back on Thursday, but we will give you something even better. More gaming news.
value has gone down big time.
Nobel Gaming News Prize.
Everybody got one.
This won't hurt. Hold on. No matter what, we get each other home.
I'm ready for whatever today brings.
I'm ready. Let's get the job done.
This is your champion.
I'm the jump master.
I'm the jump master.
Oh,
Ready up.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
Something wrong with your head if you fight me.
Are you okay? What'd you say?
Let's reposition there.
Library. Watch later. Bring it up and scrub it down.
Anytime there's a new video game coming out, inevitably there will be leaks. It's just the way the world works, the way the cookie crumbles. Like Michael Jordan in his prime, you can't stop him, you can only hope to contain him. So what happens is, inevitably when these leaks do start making it to the public mainstream consciousness, studios
Yeah, I
do
don't
their
know why
best
you
to
guys
kind of
landed
put the
there.
kibosh on it, so not a ton of people see it, because obviously they don't want their product released before it was scheduled to, and they don't want it spoiled for potential customers because it might have an effect on their sales. So it ends up being a big song and dance every time there's a new game that comes out. And that's what's currently happening with Starfield. Starfield has been leaked by more than one person, but I want to focus on one that recently just got arrested for the way in which they were doing it, among other things. It has to be probably the dumbest leaking incident I've ever fucking seen. Now, of course, like I said, the video game industry is no stranger to leaks. Video games leak more than my ass after eating gluten. But this time, it's a very big title. Probably one of the most hyped titles in a long time with Starfield. So this is one that they were really watching closely. And the most prominent leaker of Starfield went Insano style on how they were leaking it. So not only did he release 45 minutes of gameplay footage from Starfield, he also came into possession of quite a few physical copies of the game itself. Allegedly, he had stolen like review copies of the game and tried to start selling those as well. And most comical of all with his plan here, his nefarious scheme, is that the footage he uploaded from Starfield he posted onto his own real personal YouTube channel, which apparently had his real name attached to it. Which is, I mean, that's big brain. That's galaxy brain. Hiding in plain sight, or right under their nose. Surely they won't think that someone would be stupid enough to upload something like this on their real account. But as shocking as it is to say this out loud, somehow this plan didn't pan out super well. Usually when someone decides to break bad, go to the dark side here and leak something, especially something as high profile as Starfield, they go through laborious protocol, extensive safety measures are taken to ensure their identity is kept a secret. So it's hard to track them down, because it is a crime. You can't do that. It's illegal. Most of the time, they'll go through 12 different VPNs, buy a brand new laptop, put a piece of tape over the webcam, wear some rubber gloves, really just in case, then upload a cell phone video onto a private video link, download that link 12 times to degrade the quality a bit and compress it a bit further, then upload that to a private, burner Twitter account, then download that video one more time, and then finally upload it on YouTube to a brand new burner account that's tied to like an anonymous 5-minute mail or something. Meanwhile, the leaker in this case, his name is Darren Harris. His plan was as simple as, I'll just go raw, no rubber. I'm just going to upload this to my personal channel. Just pop my shit off. Let's go. And so he did. Which is that is a Sigma grind set maneuver right there. He said, you know what? Let's just get right into it. He also uploaded another video where he was just kind of talking about the game. He said, Todd Howard, no offense, but it's a good game. And then he posted tons and tons of proof that he had...
Instead of porno with your mom, called bones and all.
Bonesaw is ready.
What?
I'm the jump master. No straying, no.
Crappy TP.
This is awesome. This might be a good place to land. Hold your breath. You have to breathe.
Green Inferno is what I'm gonna watch.
What is happening right now?
Going in.
Listen.
That is not how you drop.
What?
Buddy's whining.
Oh yeah, is that whining to you?
He's sad.
I think you're sad.
Eva. This guy.
Got some extra supplies.
The ring is close. All the rest of us.
Oop.
There's company over here.
Contact with enemy. Great. The ring is close.
Hold back for a sec.
Haven't engaged yet.
There's someone back there. He's coming.
Half a minute. Ring is near.
Oh, he's right there. Oh, he's right here.
Oh shit.
Oh my god. Fuck. Fuck. That was horrible.
Sad.
all of the games that
Both
he said
guys.
he did. He started selling them on Mercari. And a handful of days later, Harris began shutting down his social media accounts. I'm assuming he had some kind of come to Jesus eureka moment where he realized, damn, this was a horrible idea. But it was already too late. The authorities got a search warrant for his house, and he was eventually booked with 2 misdemeanors, one for possession of marijuana and another for property theft worth $1,000 or less, and then a felony charge slapped on there for property theft of $2,500 to $10K. He was also released on a $10,000 bond, but is scheduled to appear in court on September 8th. Also, he apparently said that he had purchased his copies of the games. I've gotta say, even if he did somehow purchase these copies of the game, it doesn't mean he can turn around and resell them before the scheduled release date. That's still not allowed. You still can't do that. You know what you can do, though, and should do? Buy tickets to my first ever live event, which is happening September 8th, 9th, and 10th. We're adding a few new things to it, and I want to briefly talk about it. The biggest one is we're going to be filming a music video live, and you, the audience, can be in it. We'll be filming it on the 8th, 9th, and 10th, so in case you don't want to go to all 3 days or can't, whichever day you decide to go, you can still be in the music video if you want to. It's for one of our new songs, The Gentlemen, which is Troy and I's music project. We've released iconic bangers like 2019 Guy. I'm sure you all know. I don't need to go through our resume. We have an upcoming EP that we're releasing within the next couple months, and one of the music videos we thought it'd be really fun to film with all of you if you want to be in it. So we'll be doing that at this event. The bulk of the content is going to be like a really fun, hype watch party for our Apex Legends team as they hopefully take home the World Championship. It's $25 for a ticket for whichever days you want to go, or $60 for all 3. There's also a couple of other things we're going to be adding that I'll touch on a little bit closer to the event date. There's a little less than half of the tickets still available, so if any of this sounds like fun, and it should sound like fun if you're a rational, sane person who enjoys a good party, then definitely go to stratuscenter.org and pick up some tickets now. I'll put a link in the description as well. Now back to the topic at hand. That kind of concludes the entire Starfield leaking saga here, but that's not where I want to stop the discussion, because I did look at a little bit of the leaked footage just out of pure curiosity. I've been cautiously optimistic for Starfield ever since they showed the most recent gameplay showcase. I thought it looked extremely impressive and really fun. A lot better than I expected it to. But that leaked footage, partner, yeah, I tell you what, that was a bit rough. That put some vegetables on a spoon and said, "Open wide, Charles, here comes the choo-choo train," and I wasn't ready for those vegetables. I've gone right back to being a little nervous for the full release of Starfield, not living up to all the hype. I'm starting to question the old Todd the God Howard here on the direction of Starfield and how it's going to actually turn out. I don't want to actually spoil any of this for you. Hopefully you haven't had your whole experience ruined or anything by people spoiling it for you or anything like that. All of the footage and all of the leaks have been reposted millions of times, so it's a very hard thing to avoid if you're trying to. So I'm not going to make it even more difficult. I will just say, one of the biggest disappointing things I saw was how completely barren a lot of it looked, which was one of my biggest concerns with the game when everything was first announced about it. But the gameplay showcase massaged it a bit and made me believe that it wouldn't just be procedurally generated nothingness, because that's super boring. Just aimlessly wandering a soulless, empty, dead world, a barren wasteland. There's nothing enjoyable about being able to explore a ton of empty, substanceless planets. Just walking by some rocks, oh yeehaw, woohoo. I was really worried that that might be the case. I then wasn't as worried after the gameplay showcase. Now after the leaks, I'm worried again, because some of the shit they showed looked more empty than a Burger King. It's a bit alarming. Now, pardon me while I still huff a bit of opium here. I'm still fingers crossed that this won't be representative of how the actual Starfield experience goes. I'm hoping it won't just be wandering completely empty nothingness. I'm hoping that this was just an isolated incident here, and this won't be what my playthrough looks like. There were a few other features, we'll use for lack of a better term, that players aren't super excited for that came out from these leaks. So overall, a lot of people just had their expectations lowered a little bit here on the Starfield hype. So yeah, I wanted to talk about this whole situation here. That's really about it. So yeah.
Hello, Galaxy. I'm Chris Perillo, and this is my view and fewer than two. The new iPhone, right around the corner. Apple's scheduled the event. It's going to be happening. And what's coming in the new iPhone, we really don't know because everything's been a rumor at this point. But reportedly, the iPhone is going to be swapping out its Lightning ports for USB-C ports. So it's about time Apple joined the rest of the world with USB-C. Are you excited about that? What would be, I gotta ask, the most exciting addition or change to the iPhone for you that would make it either a compelling upgrade from a previous phone or potentially even switching from Android to Apple? Like, well, sorry, Android's the platform, so Android to iOS. There we go. Switching from Google to Apple, although you wouldn't really have to switch because Google's apps work on Apple's products. Either way, what would it be? What would that one feature be that would be the most compelling? I gotta tell you, for me, using an iPhone on a regular basis, I use it mounted as a camera on Mac OS that I stream into my part of live.perillo.com. So I'm using the iPhone, just not like in the traditional sense that most people would be using the iPhone. So the USB-C port is kind of a non-issue for me because the Lightning port that I'm using is constantly plugged in. I'm not really moving the device around. I can see how it would be very helpful for people who have nothing but USB-C devices beyond their Apple devices. That would certainly be a lot more affordable, fewer cables to worry about or having to manage, so long as most Apple accessories find their way to USB-C. What would be that thing? Would it be a better camera? Would it be a better screen? I can tell you, the Dynamic Island has been fun to use. That would be, I think, in many respects, a good reason to upgrade from an older phone to one of the newer ones. But what's the thing? Is it the USB-C that's the best new feature that you're hoping for in this new iPhone?
Your eyes are delicate instruments. One wrong move and you could damage them for life, which makes you kind of wonder, could blasting them with light from our monitors be hurting them? Is there a better solution? The Paperlike U253, a monitor by Samsung, Datsun, that is 25.3 inches, curved, well, kind of, runs at 3K resolution and, most importantly, uses e-ink, a panel technology that I have never before today seen in a desktop monitor. It promises to change the game when it comes to eye health. Could it make a difference? Or is Datsun helpfully eyeing a way to gain you of your change? E-ink is far from new technology, but it wasn't until Amazon introduced the Kindle about a decade and a half ago that it really hit the mainstream, which, wait, that's 15 years. How is it that it took this long for someone to take that technology that people love for how easy it is on the eyes and try to put it in a monitor? Maybe because it's not a very good idea. With that said, Datsun might be onto it, even if, that's not the title. This ain't it, Chief. But this is a segue to our sponsor, Keeper. Keeper is an end-to-end encrypted password manager that's trusted by millions of people. Plus, they now support passkeys, the gateway to a passwordless future. Wow. And our audience can save 50% on personal and family plans at the link down below. For all its flaws, it's absolutely a head-turner. We had this out when people were doing tours during LTX, and literally everyone was like, whoa, what's that? There are a few reasons why e-ink has taken so long to come to the desktop. And to understand those reasons, we need
What
to
guns you
understand
carrying?
the technology. E-ink, which is kind of the Kleenex of electrophoretic displays.
Got
works
shot?
by suspending charged pigment particles in a capsule that's filled with
Across the way, we gotta get out of here.
placed between two layers of transparent electrodes that can send a charge, attracting the particles to either side.
They're across the way. I don't know if you want to go that way.
Zoom in and slow things down a bit, you can actually see the individual capsules.
I'm going over the ridge
floating
and getting
through
out
the
this way.
surface. You put these capsules in an array, and suddenly you have an e-ink display. Now, you might think, hey, this could lead to a few problems. If the particles are as big as they are, and they are physically moving through a viscous fluid, how do we refresh the display quickly? That's the neat part. You don't.
No.
Despite having
No.
ultra-high refresh technology, this monitor maxes out at a whopping 15 hertz. 15 times it refreshes every second. But before we get too into the weeds, let's take a look at the features on this thing. One of my favorite things about it is, watch this. As I unplug everything to show you guys the I/O, it doesn't need power in order to retain the last image that was on the screen. It'll degrade eventually, but Cool, right? Anyway, it's got a built-in 2-port USB hub, built-in audio jack, it has height adjust, pivot, swivel, and power in, DisplayPort, USB-C in, as well as an HDMI port. Linus, you missed the grills for the speakers. It's not that I missed them, it's that I just wouldn't want to use them. I mean, okay, alright, fine. The grill... They're pointing out sideways from behind the monitor. How good could they say? Left and right. I mean, they're not gonna sound great, but they're there. It's an example. It's true what he says. Honestly speaking,
I don't know if I'm gonna
lost
make
the
this. I don't have
last
anything
night
else.
because I desperately want to try this. I've had to look at this on his desk for the last 2 flippin' weeks. Is that as good as it manages to do, converting to grayscale? I'm gonna give you a quick little tutorial on how to use it. Oh, you're ready. These 6 buttons are very important. They allow you to change front light. Exactly, because e-ink is a reflecting display. If you keep pressing that button, you'll find that there's different color front light. Oh, yeah. Also, it's not really very even. You can tell it's very edge-lit. Reminds me of the Game Boy SP when you... Does the C manually refresh the display? Yes, that is. So if I could press this 15 times per second... No. Different modes. Graphic mode, text mode, video mode. Why don't we start with text mode? It seems to be a contrast control of some sort. Exactly. I think the funniest part about this is that you can see that the heads-up display just kind of stays on. If you get like...
I just got some news that makes all of 2023 a huge waste of my time. Kind of feels like I opened up a kissing booth in 2020. What is this news? What wasted all of my time? Well, to give you some context, we have to go back to the start of the year, where I announced that I'm joining up with Moist Critical, aka Charlie, and his Moist Esports organization, Moist Moguls. You might have heard of it before, and it's taken up a lot of my time this year, making merch for it, signing Melee players, watching the events. That felt really fun, and I enjoyed a lot of it. But the biggest crown jewel, the biggest time spent, was our Valorant team. The Moist Moguls Valorant team cost hundreds of thousands of dollars and dozens of hours every single month just to get off the ground and to operate. I was really proud of the team. We did very well. But then I received this news this morning. An update regarding the teams participating in VCT Americas 2024, which is basically like the Tier 1 franchise, top of the line North American teams and South American teams. After several months in rounds of communication with the Guard, the organization has failed to meet the deadline to agree with the team participation agreement for VCT Americas. As a result, the Guard will not be participating in 2024 VCT Americas. What does this mean? Well, basically, the Guard, a team that we competed against for a chance to be in this pro VCT Americas League, is no longer going to be in it because they didn't sign the paperwork for it. And so, as a result, they're not letting any team into the pro league. Everyone's going to stay in amateurs. They're going to stick with 10 teams for the upcoming season. And guess who beat us on the way to maybe make it to the franchise spot? The Guard. 3-0 in the losers finals, which was our only chance to make it to the Ascension tournament to become a franchise team, as opposed to what we are now, which is more like a minor league team. And that sucks, because it basically means that none of it mattered. Losing didn't matter because the people that beat us aren't even going to go on to do great things. How did we get to this point? Well, let's rewind a bit. If you guys don't know, this has been an amazing month for Valorant. In fact, they just wrapped up VCT Champs, which is their largest event of the year, which I'm only going to show you one clip because I think it's really funny. This is Elon Musk, who's spotted at the event, getting shown on camera and then getting booed. And then after he gets booed for a little bit, they start chanting, "Hey, Brex, another challenge for..." Bring back Twitter! True, I agree, Elon. Anyway, that was a good month for Valorant. They had a bunch of views, everybody was super hyped, EG won it over Paper Rex. Great, lovely. However, they have just hit us with a bomb that next year, VCT Americas is not going to let anybody ascend. Fuck Aiden. I keep getting caught by FOMO investing. He put a lot of money into a CSGO night, and it made a lot of money, and then I started looking at the CSGO nights. But that's stupid. I have to stop being stupid with my money. And one way to do that is by getting a 5.5% yield on my cash by buying government-backed treasury bills. Yeah, sometimes I say smart stuff. That's obviously a much higher yield than a savings account, And it's also a fixed rate, so you know you're going to get 5.5% back. And it's backed by the government, who will probably be around for a while. But there's a problem. It can be a little tricky to buy U.S. Treasuries, and that's where Public comes in. They're the sponsor of today's video, and also a super easy one-stop shop to get your U.S. Treasuries, instead of using a website that looks like it's from 1996. So if you want to be a little bit smarter and a little less confused, then go to public.com/mogulmail right now, or click the link in the description to get started. Thank you to Public for sponsoring this video. Alright, goodbye. See you later. Goodbye. And who is this guard? Why are they doing this? Is this Riot's doing it? Is this the guard's fault? Well, to explain it, the Guard is a esports team owned by the people who also own SoFi Stadium, the Los Angeles Rams. I think they own like a super good football team in Europe as well. They're incredibly rich. They're also not that interested in staying in esports. In February, I talked about this in another Mogul Mail. The Guard laid off almost all of their staff. They were basically operating a skeleton crew to get their franchise teams like Call of Duty and Valorant through the end of the season, and then from there we weren't really sure what was going to happen. But we found out that they were no longer planning to compete. They're basically planning on shutting down the whole operation, and I think they failed to find a buyer for their whole team, and I don't think they're willing to maybe just sell off parts of it. I'm not exactly sure. And this was news, by the way, not just to the Valorant world, but also to the people at the Guard, because this was a tweet from the Guard social media team literally last week, a couple days ago. What a year for North American Valorant. Congrats to the Guard. Can't wait to battle in 2024. They're not going to battle anymore. At this point, it's worth explaining how this all works. Alright, and I drew up this little schematic because it is fucking confusing. Basically, Moist Moguls, me and Charlie, are in Tier 2, alright, which is just North American teams, and I guess also Canadian teams, I'll put them here, competing, and if you are the top 2 of 12 teams, you get to compete with all the Tier 2 teams from both America, South America and North America. 6 people compete in this, so it's 2 from the US, 2 from Brazil, 2 from South America, and then as those 6 people turn into 1 champion who gets to go to Tier 1, where you get all the money, all the trophies, all the viewership, you smoke a bunch of weed, it's tight, it's dope, everybody wants to do that, and who got to do that was the Guard. They beat everybody, including us. We were a damn good team. We were 3rd place. But then we come to today's news. So basically, this whole year, this Ascension tournament, all the games that we watched didn't actually matter because nobody's going to ascend. And I don't blame the people at the Guard. They didn't even know about this. This is Jonah P., one of the Guard members, who said, "What did I wake up to?" And what was his tweet 2 days ago? "I've never been more motivated to play." Like, that is what we are dealing with. People who are just excited to play, we're finding out they're no longer allowed to play because their organization won't sign the paperwork. At this point, it's worth explaining, what is the paperwork? Like, why did they not sign it? And the answer is, it's basically a list of things that they are guaranteed to provide to their players. Riot will not directly provide housing and salaries to all the people in their league. However, they do give a stipend to teams, but the stipend doesn't necessarily cover all the costs. And there's an expectation that the team will pay for everything, right? So they'll pay for a facility in Los Angeles because that's where the teams play. They'll pay for the salaries based off the league minimums. They'll have a certain amount of staff on board to help run and operate the business. And the Guard, because they don't want to spend any more money, because maybe they don't think it's worth the time, because they certainly have the money, but maybe they think their time is best spent elsewhere, refuse to sign. All right, so we're talking about, hey, you basically have to sign a piece of paper that says, hey, I'll pay millions of dollars for my players to operate in your league. In exchange, you give me a stipend that covers some of it, but not all of it, and then we go on and we have great times in franchise. They don't want to do it. It is kind of weird they don't want to do it, but it also makes sense because they fired all their teams and all their staff in February. They were basically operating just a bare minimum that they don't want to now increase it to go back to what they were in February. But it sucks for us. It sucks for the people in the league. So here's what I think we should do. And I think there's really one option here, but if it somehow doesn't work, there's a backup. The main option is let the players keep the slot. These are 5 players and a coach who grinded their ass off all year. They didn't.
You want to go to them? Or you want to move up the hill?
They were super close. They were
Okay, I guess we're going, Wolf. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we
They
doing?
proved they were the best of not just North America, but South America for Tier 2. Let them compete, right?
Sounds like they pushed through and got shot the other way. We can third party that and we can get the fuck out.
But give the ownership to the players for the 2 years that they're allowed to be up there. Because we've talked about this before, but when you ascend, when you finally go up to the tier 1, you only do that for 2 years. And then you go back over to here. You only get this 2-year waiting period. It's dumb. There should be relegation. We should have it so the worst person in tier 1 drops down, not just the person who went up. Because what if the guard were to win the entire thing? That would be kind of dumb to drop them down. At least I think so. So I'd like for some changes to be there. But that's a conversation for another day. So anyway, back to it. We should allow the players to keep it, all right? And maybe offer them, like, right of refusal. So if they want to go to another team, they can. But if they want to stay on the team, they also can. And I'm sure there's at least 6 people who will instantly pay
what are you guys trying to
$1
do
million
here?
To have their name in the franchise slot with these players, even if they don't have full control over picking them out. I think that would happen.
Incomunicado.
If for whatever reason that can't happen, let the runner-up go. Who's M80? They got 2nd place in this North American, South American tournament. They beat out all the Brazilian teams and the South American teams. Let them go, right? If for whatever reason you can't do that. To me, that makes the most sense. I mean, we already have people.
If you see some sniper ammo, let me know. I mean, some shotgun ammo.
This guy's Toast.
Looking for shotgun
He's
ammo.
represented. And I'm sure he'd be fine keeping the team along. Let me tell you, Toast is good with any team as long as they got a heartbeat. I'm kidding. Just a tease. And the real question is, what was the game for people in tier 2, right? People in the lower league, if they just didn't have the money, if they didn't have a huge org behind them. Not signed Team 1 Ascension, would they just not get the spot? Like, for example, Turtle Troop is the only team here who's not signed by an organization. It is just a group of free agent players who happen to be fucking amazing at Valorant. Amazing enough that they've made it through any other group of 5 into the tier 2 system. Which is beautiful in a way. That you and your friends, if you're good enough, can create a team and you can work up from tier 3, aka just Joe Blows, to tier 2, which is a Riot sanctioned event, to possibly tier 1. But Riot saying, actually, no. You can't do that. Because they've actually replied to this before. This was raised at VCT Pacific this year, when Bonker made it to playoffs. Riot straight up said winning Ascension does not guarantee a spot in the pros. What orgs have to pass a vetting process, which basically means they have to have enough money to pay for all the things that Riot
I
expects.
got it
If they
already,
don't have
thank
it,
you.
well, GG, you're not getting the slot. And that's where we're left off. I don't fuck with it. Seems like everybody else is mad about it on Twitter and Reddit. Hopefully Riot makes a change to it. Hopefully this adds some fuel to the fire. And the only thing I want to leave you on outside of this is that Moist is still around. Okay, we're working on big things. And if you guys want, you can join Charlie live in Florida to watch our teams live. A little live watch party. Only $25. If you want to go do that, that's a fun thing. Anyway, that's it. That's all I got for you guys. Have a good rest of your day. Raito, please fix game. And see you later. Goodbye. Have a good one.
Starfield hype has reached critical levels ahead of its launch next week, so can you really blame a guy for stealing 67 copies of...
What's up, guys and gals? Me, Mutahar, and to an issue on the system, one that I'm currently fixing up right now as we speak. But ladies and gentlemen, according to the title, it's kind of true. I don't really want to be a gamer anymore, to be honest with you. And that's because of the stupidity I have to deal with when it comes to reading a lot of gamer takes and a lot of gamer news and a lot of gamer stuff on the internet. Now, I'm going to be real. I'm a little bricked up for Starfield. The reason I am is because I love space games, okay? You can release a video game about space golf, okay? And I'd be excited. I don't give a shit about golf, but I can buy it because it's in space. So, ladies and gentlemen, you know, for me, space games are like the most exciting thing. And, you know, there's a game like called Star Citizen that I would be more excited about if it was actually coming out. And this point, I'm pretty sure my kids are going to be finishing college, okay? And then I'll be playing the open beta after graduation. So, you know, I'm not too hyped for Star Citizen. It's a game from Bethesda, where, you know, they made some good games in the past. Games like, you know, The Elder Scrolls, you know, Fallout. Even the worst Bethesda game, in my opinion, probably like Skyrim, because I'm not the biggest fan of it. It's still a fun time. You know, Bethesda games are very much Bethesda titles, okay? You make a character, you ignore the main quest, and you do a shit ton of the side content until 1,000 hours in, you're supposed to remember, oh shit, I'm supposed to save the galaxy. What? That's what I think of Bethesda titles, okay? So for me, Starfield, like I said, you know, a week or two when I made a video regarding this topic, I want to sell practice space. That's all I want, right? My expectations for video games are really simple. Now, in a space video game, you know, there's going to be some exploration. Starfield has like 1,000 planets. 10% of them are actually going to be planets with like habitation. The other ones will not. Much like our actual solar system. In fact, if you look at our solar system, if you look at our galaxy, less than 10% of the planets could possibly, you know, host life. So, you know, it's not a lot of questionable things. For instance, there's been the console war that's sparked up again. The console jihadists coming out, you know, defending either Sony, Nintendo, or PlayStation. When we all know the master console, you know, is the iPhone 3G. Okay, that's pretty much where it's at. Infinity Blade, always amazing. Mafia Wars.
That worked? What the fuck?
Mafia sarcasm aside. I look at this game as a bit of excitement. You know, it's an Xbox game I'm ready for. Last time I was excited for an Xbox game was a long time ago. Okay, 2 presidencies ago. Okay, that's how bad it was. So Starfield is coming out, and there's been some takes. For one of the stupidest ones I ever read was some guy looked at a gas giant and wondered why you can't fly over a spaceship or land on it. Now, I learned this shit at Nick Jr., okay? Alright, TVO kids. Arthur, the magic school bus. You can't land on a gas giant, dumbass. Doesn't work that way. You don't need me to tell you that. Okay, NASA, okay, tons of space agencies, physics, mathematics, science, the shit that guides our world and lets us understand the intricacies of it, that tells you why you can't land on a gas giant, okay? So I wanted to start this off with a little bit of humor, just because it was wild, it was goofy. The other thing I wanted to really talk about was, obviously, the game and limitations. Video games are not one-to-one recreations of life. You're going to come across actual gaming limitations. Now, one of the things I saw was the boundary drama yesterday on Starfield. Apparently, the game lets you land anywhere you want on the planet, and it generates that location as a tile. Now, if you walk for 10 minutes in a straight line, the game will just launch you to an invisible wall. It'll be like, hey, get back in your ship, fly here so we can, in the background, generate another plot line for you to explore out of this planet. Now, at first, the limitations sounded kind of interesting, but then I realized there's going to be some give and take, right? If you want a game to have sort of more detail in what Starfield's trying to do, you're probably going to have to use this approach, right? When you're generating interesting points of interest, or an interesting, like, environment, oceans, foliage, you know, landmarks, landscapes, this might be the only way to realistically do it on consoles.
Pick up my shields!
Now, you could try to do it the Star Citizen way, but and then you have a game that never comes out. Now, people have compared it to No Man's Sky, which is such a brain-dead take, because I like No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky is a great game. But you tell me you walk 10 minutes straight in No Man's Sky, you're going to get fucking bored. It's like playing Minecraft. You walk 10 minutes in a straight line, you will get bored. Okay? You will realize the limitations of procedural generation if you walk for 10 minutes in No Man's Sky and not notice a biome shift. You're like, oh shit, the mountains are all looking kind of sea. You know, these structures all just look like 4 or 5 different prefabs placed over and over and over again. Yeah, that's how procedural generation works, motherfucker.
Yo, good job! Atta-way! I can't believe that worked, and I got the last kill on that? What's going on here?
10 minutes in
Woo!
Yeah, I can see it getting...
Yo, hope you have a good stream. Keep up the grind. Thanks, SG Jimmy! When was that from? A little bit ago. I'm sorry, I missed your message. Thanks, SG Jimmy.
Is very minimal. Okay, like maybe like 0.001% of people
Underscore
are really
JIMI.
and the others are just going to go around and hunt pirates, do missions, you know, fuck with factions or do whatever. You know, start a cult or whatever is in the game. I heard there's a religion mechanic. It's fine. So that was one of the issues. The other one was the review score stuff. And this is where I really want to talk about reviews and handing out review copies. Now, it'll be a cold day in hell before I defend Kotaku, Metro.co.uk, a lot of these shitty publications, Extra Life, okay, that dog shit wiki publication. If you read an Extra Life wiki, by the way, it's about the most shallow, bare-bones dog shit you could read. Hey man, you want to know the top Dark Souls 3 builds? Sorcerer is the best. It'll shock you. Really? Thank you. You guys finally caught up with, like, Reddit new, alright? The new Reddit posts. Anyways. So, some sites are getting review copies. Now, I kind of look at this in a way where, is Bethesda not handing it out, or Microsoft not review copies? Because they're a bit worried about the game, right? Like, generally, when you give out a review copy, you give it like a month in advance, so the reviewer can play the game and, come up with their opinions. And for games like Starfield or Baldur's Gate 3 or like these 300-hour-long games sometimes, these mega giant experiences, giving the game a 1 month ahead review is still nearly impossible. But anyway, review copies, it's totally up to the company to pick who they give a copy to or who they don't. Kotaku is blackballed by pretty much everybody because they're a shitty publication. So when they don't get review copies, we kind of get it, right? Now, review copies tend to have a situation where I feel like biases play...
What? How am I not the champion?
Biases play a more acute response.
I just
so instance,
won that.
If you hand out a review code to like Xbox Monthly, right, and they say,
Whiskey
Starfield's
Tango.
a great game, 10 out of 10. Bit of a conflict of interest, right? Versus if you also give it out...
Man, I'm coming off a win. You're gonna hot drop me like that?
Starfield's cool, Top came and slapped my grandmother in the face. Obviously there's going to be bias, right? Publications will have biases. These are things that you cannot avoid. Now, when you're selective with your review copies and you're handing them out, and that to me is a bit worrisome, okay? It's like, are you giving or curating who you give copies to because you think these publications are going to give you a 10 out of 10, a 9 out of 10, and make sure when your game drops, your Metacritic review score, basically the Rotten Tomatoes for video gaming, is going to be at like 99 out of 100, okay? Is that what you're looking for? So you can put it on your advertising and throw it out. And even for a lot of YouTubers, like I know that Andrew from Charlie's team, publicly messaged out and told me they were trying to get a review code for Moisture. And apparently they didn't get one either. I sent a request out to an influencer team as well too. Not expecting much. If I can get a review code, awesome. If I don't, the game comes out in like 2-3 days anyways. I'll stream it. I will be streaming Starfield on my channel as soon as I get access to it. Now, the thing about review copies and review scores is how much importance that we, the gamer, put on. Yes, reviews are great. They're needed for video games. There's no doubt about that. But I feel like in a lot of cases, this could easily be a problem that's addressed for a lot of gamers out there that just want to know if the game is good or not, is if you just give them like an hour or two to try it. Some games do this on Steam, even on Xbox and PlayStation. And it's honestly really damn useful. If you gave somebody an hour to play the video game and get a feel for the game's mechanics, people could just explore maybe a section of 1% of Starfield's planets and get an idea for the mechanics, get an idea for what the story is going to be about, and the game blocks you off after an hour or two of playtime, or until you get to a certain point in the story, right, where things start to get even more interesting, and then they'll say, hey, listen, pay us $60, right? Enjoy the game right there. We're getting to a period where games come out on discs and digital, right? So what I never understood is the pre-ordering mechanic, right? There's going to be limited physical discs, whatever. But digital doesn't have a limit. You don't have to pre-order a digital game. It's not like the file is going to be limited. Okay, you pay $60, they entitle you to download a file from a server. A file that is infinitely downloadable, okay? So why is it that instead of dealing with these reviews that people put so much of an onus on, these publications will do whatever they can to push out a review minutes before the other, okay? Because it is that important to get a day one video of Starfield out before the game even launches. Why? That fully built out. Why do you not release an hour or two time trial for a video game? That's all anybody's asking. For this game, and for it to truly appease people, I feel like giving an hour or two of a trial to people, even if you don't own an Xbox, through the xCloud, which Microsoft already runs, probably the best cloud streaming service out of many of them. I I feel like that would want more, allow people more ease of access to truly understanding and buying the video game, right? That would do more for it than anything else. Even watching a live streamer play a video game does not necessarily do it justice. Giving the keys to you to test drive a video game like people test drive a car is infinitely better, you know? If you're going to spend $60, I think playing an hour or two on a trial is a reasonable expectation, right? Playing the game up until a certain point. This year, games like Final Fantasy 16, Resident Evil 4, even when they offered a trial, some of them being minutes, some of them being an hour long, 2 hours long, did more for me than most other video games out there. But I wanted to ask you, is that like necessarily a better way to handle this than just watching a standard review? Because honestly, I can't really even bother watching video game reviews anymore. The only review I watch is Digital Foundry just to understand if a game is functioning in launch, right? Like, oh, I'm about to buy a PC game. Better hope it doesn't run at like 20 frames a second. But yeah, that's just one of the things that I want to go for. The game is interesting. I'm ready for Starfield. I'm not overly hyped. I'm not a pre-order junkie. I'm going to see how the game looks when it comes out. I'm going to see more of the footage. Some of it's already been leaked. And if it's good, and it looks like it's good, then I'll pay them my money. I'll download the game and I'll play it. Alright, it's simple as that. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. You know, sometimes the gaming community is so stupid that I don't want to be associated with some of these people that call themselves gamers. Because sometimes when you let fanboyism consume you, and you let all this shit consume you, it takes away objectivity. It takes away your ability to rationally consume this amazing tier of content that we love to call, video games. But ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah. Fix up my computer before Starfield drops. Hi.
I'm Jumpmaster.
Cool.
Hello.
Stay on my way.
And on someone else's tab.
I heard you.
Can you feel the speed? Yeah, baby.
What's up, Brian Talk here. We've got a whole lot of iPhone 15 and 15 Pro news. The iPhone 15 Ultra name coming back in the conversation, and Apple Watch patents too. Oh yeah. Hold up. Newsflash. Hey, I'm at Sony Condo Camp in Utah right now. It's an amazing experience here, but Apple, they just sent out their official invite for their fall event, and it will be held on Tuesday, September the 12th at 10 a.m. at Apple Park like we expected. And I'm lucky enough to be one of the people who will be there in person. Now, the event is titled Wanderlust, and that word means a strong desire to travel. And yes, I'd like to travel back to Apple Park ASAP. Now, I'll be giving you all the coverage I possibly can from the mothership, and we're expecting the new iPhone 15 lineup, new Apple Watch Series 9, and Apple Watch Ultra 2, and more. But none of that is official until it's official. So there you go. The event is official Tuesday, September 12th at 10 a.m. Okay, back to your regularly scheduled program. So let's start off with the iPhone 15, and if you don't think the actual iPhone will impress you, well, hey, maybe its colors will. That's right, Apple's planning to refresh the entire lineup with at least 5 new shades, according to Twitter leaker Unknowns21. Now, according to him, at least 6 different colors were tested for the iPhone 15, and that includes a pink rose gold or blush gold type color. Then you got green, blue, yellow, orange, and a dark shade that's either black, midnight, or something similar to a deep dark color. Now, he doesn't guarantee that they are all coming, but does say that we should at least see some of these. Now, already looking at this render, these colors they're just really taking me back to the days of the iPhone 5C, and maybe that's what they're trying to tap into this time around for the iPhone 15. Remember that? Yeah, the short-lived iPhone 5C, it was the SE before the SE existed, and a lower-level, entry-level type iPhone with its own design. And at that time, iOS 7 was Apple's major redesign to the iOS, and really much of what we see today came from that. Even iOS 7 arguably was made to match the iPhone 5C design more than any other iPhone in the mind of Johnny Ive. I also even remember maybe a younger version of me and my reactions to it back then.
You talk about plastic. We sitting here, Apple's supposed to be the leader for innovation, and we're here talking about plastic? I mean, listen, we talking about plastic. Not a new iPhone, not a new iPhone, not a new iPhone. We talking about plastic. Not a phone. Not the phone I go in line for and cry for and pay every penny I save like it's my last day. Not the iPhone. We're talking about plastic, man. Actually, that wasn't me. That was Alan Briverson. Okay, a new rumor from Asia claims that the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus could come out with a color-matching braided USB-C to USB-C cable. Now, there has been a confirmation that test samples of these color-braided cables do exist. The report says all of the cables will have the glossy white plastic shell at the end to connect them, but a black version will have a black plastic shell, obviously. The report says these cables will come at least in white, black, yellow, purple, and orange color options, which doesn't completely match the earlier colors we just talked about, but maybe the orange shade could be closer to a coral or a pink color. I mean, there has been little to no buzz about a purple iPhone making a return this year, but maybe that's more of a blue cable than purple as well. And up to this point, all iPhones have come with a white rubber-coated cable all these years, and this will be the first time that they get the braided color cable option. Now, we've seen the MacBook Airs and the MacBook Pros get color-matched cables, but this would be...
You guys trying to pinch this guy?
Now, a follow-up report from Mac Rumors said that the iPhone 15 Pro and the 15 Pro Max will reportedly come with color-matched braided cables of their own.
There's one behind me.
And another report from Apple device collector Kosutami says that these color-matched cables will be 1.5 meters in length, which would be 50% longer than the Lightning cable that comes with the current iPhone model. So just a little bit more reach for you. So look, if you aren't impressed by the iPhone rumors, maybe you'll want to upgrade because of the new color-braided cable with extra length. Now, I know you're all smarter than that, right? Right? Okay, good. Now, leaker Majin Buu claims that even if it's a new cable, don't expect any faster data transfer speeds if you get a standard iPhone 15 or 15 Plus. According to him, the USB-C cables supplied in the iPhone 15 boxes will be limited to USB 2.0 data transfer speeds at 480 megabits per second, which is the same as the current Apple Lightning cable. Yay! Now,
did they move up there?
15 Pro and Pro Max models, both of those are expected to support higher USB-C transfer speeds and support at least USB 3.2 or Thunderbolt 3. That could mean data transfer speeds up to 40 gigabits per second, and those faster transfer speeds will be advantageous for people like me who currently try and fail multiple times to transfer over large video files over AirDrop. Okay, now there's more iPhone stuff that we've got to talk about, but first, let's take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, Bellroy. Bellroy puts its heart and soul and countless design hours into helping the world carry with greater simplicity and ease, and they make real modern and elegant solutions for wallets, cases, and bags, like this one right here, the Tech Kit. Now that keeps all my tech accessories organized in one kit, and I normally just throw my cables in my bag wildly, and partnering with Bellroy made me realize how dumb that was. So now I have this great case that holds everything from my MacBook Pro charger, my dual USB-C 35-watt charger in its stretchy mesh pockets, and then all the cables I need are here, and even AirPods can fit in these elastic loops. And there's even a little hidden spot under the cables for an extra power bank. Now the Tech Kit opens up so you can lay it out completely flat, and there's still some wiggle room to pack in whatever other extra tech bits you might have. As a certified B Corp, this Australian-based company uses materials that are functional, durable, and environmentally sustainable, like Ecotan leather, recycled polyester made from 100% recycled plastic water bottles, and recycled nylon made from 100% recycled industrial nylon offcuts. And you know, an ocean lover like me is all about the environment, so there will be more great cases and bags that I'll be featuring from Bellroy in the future. Now, right now, you can get 10% off anything on Bellroy.
Damn.
Per the rumors about Windows 21 and 9 to 5 Mac, they say that Apple will be introducing an all-new dark blue color to the 15 Pro lineup, and that will be joined by silver, space black, and a natural titanium shade. Now, there were rumors about a red shade color previously from 9 to 5 Mac that has turned out to be untrue or debunked at the moment, right? These are all rumors. And it appears that Apple will go with those cooler tones for the 15 Pro family. Now, the reports also say Apple does not plan on selling a gold iPhone 15 Pro or 15 Pro Max this year, which also really wouldn't match with the titanium frame. So we'll find out all the official iPhone colors in just a few weeks, right? But will they even call the high-end model the 15 Pro Max? There's renewed chatter coming from Apple insiders Andrew O'Hara, who says his sources tell him that Apple will use the name iPhone Ultra
instead of the iPhone 15 Pro Max this year. Now, it was Bloomberg's Mark Gurman who first suggested it as far back as September 2022, but then, you know, it kind of went away and wasn't mentioned again. Product names, they change throughout the development of a product and are normal. That's a normal thing, right? Especially when it comes to early rumors. Well, the rumored AirPods Studio, remember that, ended up being officially called AirPods Max. And then Apple's rumored XR OS naming for their headset operating system, which was found everywhere in references, ended up being called Vision OS. So it may or may not be the Ultra. But a completely new rumored periscope camera system with a 5 times to 6 times optical zoom for just the high-end model, that is arguably worthy of a different name. It's a whole new system. So maybe the word Ultra could be a reference to its price, because another report has come out and said that the iPhone 15 Pro and 15 Pro Max will be at least $100 more expensive than last year's model, and that the 15 Pro Max, or 15 Ultra, if you want to call it that, could be as high as $200 more expensive than last year. We've talked about this, but you know, this is already a year where a lot of people are not frothing at the mouth for an upgrade. And of course, Apple has such a large user base that there will be tens of millions of people who do upgrade. But increasing the pricing by another $100 to $200 is sure to keep just some of those people on the border away and just wait for next year, where they'll be more than happy to spend an extra $100 to $200 for a different model. All right, we talked about the Apple Watch 10 being the next big upgrade in the last video, but that won't be happening this year. The Series 9 and Ultra 2, those are expected to be released with minor under-the-hood upgrades like a new processor, and nothing significant from a hardware standpoint, with the biggest changes coming from Watch OS 10. Now, the rumors could all be wrong, so hey, they could still surprise us, but this is no surprise. Apple recently filed a listing for a 2023 WatchOS subsystem in the Bluetooth product database, and this has historically every year been a strong indicator of new products coming soon. Now again, this happens every year before new products are expected to launch, and the listing doesn't reveal any Apple Watch specifics, but all signs point to the new Apple Watch upgrades, while the Apple Watch SE may not see one this time around, with an upgrade plan for the SE in 2024. Now, I also previously talked about Apple potentially working on this all-new Apple Watch band system for the Apple Watch 10, which again is not coming out this year. Well, that hasn't happened yet, and nothing is concrete, but a new granted patent just revealed by Apple
on the
Insider
posy, ashes, we all fall down.
Sampling sensors to the Apple Watch, and this would allow the watch face to have the ability to match the color of the user's Apple Watch band, or even what the user may be wearing in the future. So I know that some of us really need help with our fashion sense, and there's nothing to be ashamed about. Okay, Jeff in North Dakota. And I only say that because I bet there's a Jeff in North Dakota that needs help with his fashion sense. Now, Apple's patent described it as low-light sensors under the Apple Watch display that could measure the color of an external object, with the goal of matching the background of the current watch face to the color of what someone is wearing and the color of their Apple Watch band. Now, this patent explains how a light-based under-screen sensor could sample colors by emitting a sequence of red, green, and blue light towards an external object placed in its line of sight, and then measure the RGB reflectance levels to then figure out the colors, and then interpret what colors it sees. Now, this is not official, and it doesn't mean it's going to happen like many patents, but it's just a fun way of looking inside of Apple's big brain and getting an idea of what they're thinking of for their products. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you like what you see, give it that thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell ding, to get all my latest videos when they drop. And if you want more of that Apple goodness, you can always check out my weekly Apple Bits XL audio podcast with the latest stories and special guests. Plus, you can support all my content with an ad-free version of the podcast, early access to my content, and exclusive content at patreon.com/BrianTong. So thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace and love. Yeah.
watched a ranger in Nevada barrel through a group of environmental protesters who were, in fact, blocking the only route into the Burning Man festivities on the festival's opening day. Now, here's what led to that showdown. On Sunday, a group of activists from an organization known as Seven Circles maneuvered a trailer into the middle of the road, blocking traffic. Now, some activists even chained themselves to that trailer. Now, they did this.
Shield's broke. He's coming down. He's coming down now.
Burning Man to
he went to go get
the point about.
Good job.
How Burning Man isn't really about what it claims to be, but more importantly, using it as an opportunity to draw attention to the lack of necessary policies to effectively combat or mitigate the impact of climate change. According to a statement from Seven Circles, they say that the purpose of the blockade is to draw attention to capitalism's inability to address climate and ecological breakdown. The blockade is also in protest against the popularization of Burning Man among affluent people who do not live the stated values of Burning Man, resulting in the commodification of the event. And the event is definitely commodified. Tickets at minimum cost about $575 each. Vehicle passes for the event, $150 each. And the protesters had specific demands. For instance, for those attending Burning Man, they would like them to avoid using private jets, or single-use plastics, as well as unlimited generator and propane use. Tommy Diacono, who is the co-founder of Rave Revolution, which is a climate group that is represented by Seven Circles, explained that Burning Man attracts the elite of the elites to party and pretend they're in a classless, moneyless society. But more private jets than ever are flying to the burn. We're burning propane for fun. The air-conditioned domes are getting bigger every year, he claims. So the protest ended up causing a pretty massive traffic jam because we're talking about a one-lane road leading to the event. Unsurprisingly, the people stuck in traffic were furious about the situation, mad at the activists to say the least. And there was a Burning Man attendee who said, in regard to the activist, quote, "I think protest is very important, but destroying and inconveniencing people doesn't do anything. I have solar panels on my RV. The protesters drove here in gas-powered cars. They're literally making the climate worse." And not everyone stuck in traffic was attending Burning Man. That's something else to keep in mind. This is in Nevada. Some people were trying to get to work. In a fiery exchange, one man angrily shouted that he was a working-class person just trying to get to work. "I'm on your team, I promise," an activist tried to tell him. "The government doesn't care about us." The man shrugged and went back to his car. So, Jake, we're going to get to some of the details about the Rangers and their actions in just a moment, but I want to know what you think so far about the activist tactics here. Do you think that it's effective? Do you think they've gone in a different direction? What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So, look, I like all efforts to try to make a difference in the world. And so they're brave to go out there and they're at least trying to do something about it. In terms of is it the right target, it's probably not the target I would have picked, to be honest. Because so I get it. All the things that they're saying are not wrong. I think that you're generally right. But my guess is most of the people going to Burning Man are on their side. And so
are they?
Look, I don't know. And though I've got to be honest with you guys, and you can see this in some of our members only episodes, etc. Ben Gleed, one of our hosts, is at Burning Man, and he's the one that educated me about Burning Man. I knew almost nothing about it, and he describes it as some sort of idyllic nirvana, right? Although with a lot of dust thrown in.
Look, I think people of all political persuasions attend Burning Man. How do I know that? I remember moderating a panel with Grover Norquist in it. Grover Norquist is one of these libertarians who has succeeded in securing all sorts of tax cuts for the rich. He loves Burning.
He loves Burning Man. Shit. They all do.
It's only over when it's over.
The moon is bright. Let's channel her feminine energy.
This is your champion.
What do you think?
We took first blood.
Round 1. Begin.
I need
Rings thereby 1 minute to close.
It's just us two? You want to go to that fight or no? Are we going there, brother?
The ring's close. 45 seconds. That's a stroll.
They're healing up right now. They just ended that fight.
Mesaba says, if you like.
I don't want to, but they're healing up right now. That wasn't good.
Ultimate's ready. Are you?
Attention. Delivering care package.
It's a little odd to me that he's almost slapping in the face the people that made him famous. It's off-putting. I didn't like this. She didn't like it. And who is she? Well, Newsmax contributor and Daily Caller reporter Chrissy Clark is pretty salty over the fact that the latest viral sensation, Oliver Anthony, who went viral for his anti-establishment folk song, has basically snubbed the Republican Party, who wanted to claim him as one of their own. Now, why did they want to do that? Because of some lyrics in the song that went viral, which we'll get to in just a moment. But Oliver got fawning praise and a pretty warm reception from right-wingers for his song, Rich Men of Richmond, or Rich Men North of Richmond, I should say. And so let's take a look at the particular lyrics that they liked, and then we'll give you the updates on what happened. So in the song, which I think is a really good song, and you should listen to it if you haven't already, these rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control, want to know what you think, want to know what you do, and they don't think you know, but I know that you do, because you're $8, and then he uses a word that I unfortunately can't use here, and it's taxed to no end, because of rich men north of Richmond. So you can understand why Conservatives might hear those lyrics and think, oh, he's one of us. I'll give you a little more, though. I wish politicians would look out for minors, and not just minors on an island somewhere. Lord, we got folks in the street, ain't got nothing to eat, and the obese milking welfare. That set the left off, and, led to all sorts of criticism toward him that I didn't think was smart from the left, and I'll explain why in just a moment. But Fox News even used that song at the very beginning of the first GOP primary debate as, part of their lead question. But 4 days ago, Anthony actually posted a video making it clear that the goal of the song wasn't to make a partisan point. Let's watch.
The one thing that has bothered me is seeing people wrap politics up into this.
Let's land here.
I'm disappointed to see, it's aggravating seeing people on conservative news try to identify with me like I'm one of them. It's aggravating seeing certain musicians and politicians act like we're buddies and act like we're fighting the same struggle here, like that we're trying to present the same message. It was funny seeing my song in it was funny seeing it at the presidential debate. It's just like, I wrote that song about those people, So for them to have to sit there and listen to that, that cracks me up. But it was funny kind of seeing the response to it. Like, that song has nothing to do with Joe Biden, It's a lot bigger than Joe Biden.
The battle happens quick. Be ready.
That song's written about the people on that stage, and a lot more too, not just them, but definitely them.
So that is exactly what led to Chrissy Clark getting real salty toward Oliver Anthony. And so let's watch a little more of her appearance on Newsmax.
It seems like when you look at the headline, the liberals are just reveling in, Anthony's comments over the weekend saying that he's not on either side. But Republicans are not turning their backs on him. And, Chrissy, I think that's emblematic sort of what conservatives are about. And it's about people being able to speak freely in America today. What's your take on why the left is so excited about this?
Oh, well, of course they're excited about this because he's not overtly coming out as partisan. But when I initially saw this headline, I was like, are you kidding me? Like, this is a group of people that made your song wildly famous, and you can't write a song that's only about politics. He's not talking about rainbows and butterflies, okay? He's talking about politics and then wondering why the political zeitgeist picks this up. It's a little odd to me that he's almost slapping in the face the people that made him famous. It's off-putting. I didn't like this.
His song resonated with countless Americans. Like, the idea that she's going to turn around and say, how dare you, we made you, is pretty pathetic. And I actually applaud the fact that he is really trying to make a point about how this is not partisan. In fact, this is the kind of song, and please listen to it if you haven't already. Listen to the lyrics, aside from the controversial lyrics. Listen to what he's trying to get across about the plight of Americans, okay, the precarious nature of work and what people get paid in America. That should be a rallying cry across political ideologies. Instead, it immediately turned into a nonsense partisan garbage fire. Like, it's so stupid to take this song that has, in my opinion, a very important message and trash it based on what you assume about the guy's politics. What do you think, Jake?
Okay, so first, let's note the hilarious intro versus commentary that just happened there. The intro is like, leftists are catchy feelings, but us Republicans, we're open-minded in favor of freedom of speech. What do you think? No, I hate it.
Totally.
I can't believe he's not 100% on our side. I despise him now. Okay, that was awkward.
Totally.
Okay. So now, guys, in the beginning, we were supposed to hate him. Now they're supposed to hate him. Hey, how about if we don't hate him?
I don't hate him at all. Didn't hate him in the beginning when the left was supposed to hate him.
Right. Now, this is a real popular song. And so if you don't like the line about welfare, for example, I hear you. I don't love the line about welfare. Well, he's a populist. And so he's not a politician. He's not trying to make you happy. He's just telling you, we're all getting screwed. and he doesn't like the way we're getting screwed. And one of the ways he doesn't like us getting screwed is welfare. Okay, we disagree with him on that.
No, I don't think that he's against welfare. He's making a point about people who don't need it taking advantage of it. So I think he's trying to make a point about fraud. And look, I'm not against the social safety net. In fact, I want a far more robust social safety net. But I'm not so dumb to believe that welfare fraud isn't a thing. It is a thing. In fact, the PPP loans, there was massive fraud when it came to the PPP loans. Massive. Hundreds of billions of dollars, okay? So that's an issue, and we should fix those flaws because we should protect those resources for people who genuinely need it. The fact that that line was enough for people to ignore the overall message here, the populist economic message, I think does not speak well of the left that purports to care about improving working conditions for American workers in this country.
But my overall point is, you don't have to agree with every line.
Right.
Even if my interpretation is right, and you don't love that line, it's okay, brothers and sisters. In order to work together for the average guy, we've got to actually work together.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to agree on everything 100%. Oh, that's it. I only disagree. I agree with that guy only 98%. That's it. I hate him. He's a fascist and blah, 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 etc. By the way, right wing, same thing, right? Now he's not kissing the ass of Republican politicians and Republican talk show hosts. I hate him. Oh, I only agree with him 98%. Look, guys, you don't even know what he thinks. It's just a song. What he's saying is this against the powerful, the politicians, the establishment, and in favor of the average American worker. Whether you agree with the way he says that or not, you can appreciate that that is a real problem in America, and that is real anger and frustration felt by tons of, hundreds of millions of Americans. And the fact that it broke through in popular culture and that it resonates with people is a good thing, because all of us, right or left, at some point, if we're ever going to fight against the incredibly powerful establishment, or what he would call the rich men north of Richmond, we've got to unite. Otherwise, they're going to have us fight each other to no end. We're going to rip each other apart, and the rich men north of Richmond are going to laugh their ass off.
Yeah, I just think it's amazing that all it takes is for some skepticism in regard to which tribe he represents to just completely ignore his message, right? And by the way, let me correct myself. The PPP loans, I think I said hundreds of millions of dollars in fraud. Sorry, it was actually hundreds of billions of dollars, okay? So, in fact, there was an analysis done in March of last year that showed that at that point, there was they found about $80 billion in PPP fraud. Okay, so look, those are issues, and for hardworking taxpayers, right, and that's a frustrating situation when you see people take advantage of the system like that. Anyway, but that's beside the point. Let me get back to Oliver here, because, you know, like, look at his life story. So, as of August of 2023, like, the left was also getting at him because he owns some land. But, I mean, the guy lives in a $750 camper with his wife and 2 kids. Okay, he dropped out of high school in 2010. He later got his GED. He worked at industrial jobs in North Carolina and Virginia. He had a workplace accident while working at a paper mill in Virginia in 2013, which fractured his skull, leaving him unable to work for a year. I mean, this is a guy who has gone through a lot. He had issues with alcoholism, which he has overcome and is now sober. This is an American who is experiencing something that many Americans are also experiencing, which is why his message in that song resonated. It should have been a rallying cry that unites workers across the political spectrum, and instead it immediately devolved into nonsense, partisan politics.
Now we're picking the guy's life apart? What the hell is this? And by the way, this is what happens to you. I've explained this many times. In the old days, if somebody was causing trouble, they'd assassinate them. Now, we do character assassinations. So if anytime somebody is against the rich man north of Richmond, all of a sudden there's articles about, oh yeah, he's a big landowner. Brother's paying $750 for a camper, man. But no, we got to assassinate his character, because when you assassinate a character, you not only hurt the person, but you hurt the cause.
Yes.
And so,
Why do we come
buying
that
into
way?
that stuff. If the average guy in America, no matter which tribe they're in, does not unite, those rich men will rule you forever. Take yes for an answer. Thanks for watching the Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show
Back to
support
where
is
we
through
started.
YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.
Target spotted. Supply bin here.
3 bins over there that haven't been looted. Just fight up there.
Enemy spotted.
Scanning the area. Who's ready to fly on a zipline? I am.
Really, dude? This is... not a good idea. Not a good idea. Eldroth. Eldroth's trapping the other side, trying to chase those guys down. What are you doing? You're alone.
We should continue there.
I'm with you, brother, but we can't leave that dude there. They're going there.
Hostile over there.
Alright, let's go. We'll meet Eldroth over here. There's a fight behind us, so let's move before we get caught in that. From behind.
The ring is close. Time graces us.
Handshakes to ya.
Care package over there. Enemy spotted.
Let's go that way.
I mean, I would get in towards me, and then we can turn back on this.
There was a battle here.
Yeah. We need to get in there. Need to get over there.
Bless me with sight. Hostile spotted. Target over there.
Listen up, I'm calling a lifeline package in.
We are already inside the ring. Evo shield here. Level 3. Knockdown shield. Thank you. Level 3.
You hear that?
Oh my god, you vulture. You just took that from me?
Gods will bless us both this day.
Someone sniping out there. Circle around it and get to the backside of it.
Enemy spotted. Marking our surrounding. There was a recent battle here.
Shield cell here. Got some sniper ammo here.
1 minute remains. The ring is close.
Got it.
There was a recent battle here.
I hit him. Are you guys coming or no?
New kill leader. Go on, watch out. 45 seconds. Rings just up ahead.
Spotted. Enemy over there. Target spotted. 30 seconds remain. Safety is
I broke a shield.
Enemy down. Recharging shields.
Good. Jump in out.
I am repairing myself.
Contact with hostile.
Beginning ring countdown.
We're not all in the ring. Check your positions. Target over there.
I hit him hard. If you can see, you can hear that guy. He's. Yep, I got him. He's one. He's alone. He's alone. There you go. Good job.
We're doing great. Only 2 enemy squads remain.
Target spotted.
Oh, there was a whole team there? You guys got to communicate that. This guy was alone.
Bogey here.
We have our Apex champion.
Yo.
Oh, you're here?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Let's play some FIFA, bro.
Oh, no, I don't want to play FIFA. I'm going to play some Apex. I only get so many hours to play.
I see.
I'm going to grind Apex for a while. You're welcome to play this with me, but
I'm down. Let's go. I don't got nothing else to play.
I need to go throw something in the microwave. I'll be right back.
I've got your back. Remember me tell you.
Let's have fun, friend.
This is your champion.
Oh, you guys won last game?
Good, I'm the jump master.
No. I got like second or third because this fucking team was a dumbasses. As usual. No, I got second or third because this team was a bunch of dumbasses. As usual.
Unlucky.
Get ready, moving out.
This is every time. The fucking teams just run off and leave you, or like you go somewhere and you expect them to follow you and they stick around and they die, and it's like, no wonder. Fucking stay with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 there.
Yeah, we got people here.
We're gonna go past them then. Drop down the top hatch.
Watch yourself. First blood, good thing it's not us.
Oh, people here.
I didn't get shit. I'm going out of here. I'm getting out of here.
Me neither.
I'll get something and come back to you, bro. But there's 3 there.
I need help.
Not far from the ring, half a minute. New kill leader, go on, watch out. Rings around.
He's low, he's low.
I'm spotted, taking fire.
You got him?
Firing. Quick line, I gotcha.
Good shit.
I picked up
I need a
teammate's
gun.
lana.
Did you get him?
Yeah, I got him.
Okay.
Step here.
I'm gonna go get this guy up. What did you say, sir? Hola. Did he talk?
Nah, nothing.
Nada.
Package coming down.
Nada. No mames, güey.
Do you like my español?
Yes, I like it.
Bueno. Only poquito, though.
Nice.
Very, very poquito. Muy poquito.
Muy.
Uh-oh, someone here. Someone here.
Yep. I'm gonna try and get to you.
Help them if you need it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Gracias.
Oh shit, he's getting shot at.
Recharging my shields.
Oh.
Shoot it.
two of them up here.
Oh, 48. He's. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Sorry, bros. It's over.
We're good. Oh.
Oh, back in the shield?
No way.
What the fuck? Thank you.
Why wouldn't it let me use anything? I don't understand. It wouldn't let me do anything. Fucking game is stupid.
All good.
I am ready. I hope you are too.
True.
Troll?
True.
If you're with me, I'm with you.
Get it.
Let loose the dogs of war.
Introducing your champion.
Land there. Time we bring the wrath.
Is everything okay? What's happening in the background there with this whole, the fuck off me, bitch shit?
Oh, it's a video a friend of mine posted.
I was in the fucking kitchen making food and all I hear is someone getting smacked around.
Yeah. This guy at Walmart was fighting with the security guard. For some reason.
Fuck, I ain't coming back. There's people in the middle.
RE45 here.
Oh shit, I'm in the middle.
What do you need?
Say what?
I got a gun now.
We're all inside this ring.
I got a car and a hemlock.
That's what I need.
Well, I'll come to you. I'll come to you. I'll come to you. Are you coming up? Where are you going?
Yeah, I'm here with him.
Oh, okay, thank you. They're over here. Okay.
You got any weapons or no?
Yeah, I got one.
Got a couple crackers.
There's a different team over here.
Looking back in, back. And then I'll fight it.
Oh shit, they can see me from here. What the?
Yeah, they're across the way.
Got him.
That foe has fallen. Repairing.
Enemy taken out.
Divine kill. We're already in warfare. Enemy
He just got his banner.
reloading.
You want to push him?
He's running. Yeah.
He's taking him.
Oh, I missed.
Shot from behind, I think.
Care package being delivered. There's a new kill leader. No need to make a fuss. They'll meet me soon enough.
Looks like a care package is coming in. Big things in that.
We should journey there. Firing on up broken enemy. Nerve. That foe has fallen. Firing a smart bullet.
Are we pushing?
There, we can't. How much?
Oh, I fell.
That's
I'm
a
sorry.
good shot.
Being shot at. That foe has fallen. Shredded that foe shield.
Nice.
Let's work.
Get him off?
No time to be
Yep.
dying.
Good shit. Good shit, true.
I am the new kill leader. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. We have taken out the champion. Wonderful.
Light ammo here.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 1. I'm healing.
Yeah, I dropped some heavy because I'm just gonna take some light stuff because there's more of it lying around right now.
Yeah.
Replenishing my shield.
Heavy ammo here.
I've got
What
an
was
Evo
this?
shield here. It's cool. Level 2.
I might get another one coming out of this right now.
Let's explore this way.
In fact, I need to shield up. Why don't you guys tell me to shield the fuck up?
Troll?
There's a... I'm high, so I'm stupid.
Nah, dude.
I'm sober and I'm stupid, so you good.
Leave some extra supplies here. Excellent. Hey, good friend. There's a treasure pack here. Car SMG here. I'm collecting materials. Crafting. Rather calming.
Be crafting.
Extended mag, baby.
Are we going?
Let's do it. Nothing here
Yeah.
anymore.
Unlooted.
Attention, delivery replicator. Replicator incoming, friends. Helmet here. Level 3.
Hey,
Yo, I was just using the accelerant to get this thing done.
Listen up, I'm calling a lifeline package in.
nice.
sure what came down over there.
Thank you.
1 minute. Rings nearby.
Using this accelerant again. If it's on the floor, I'm just gonna use it.
Might as well.
Rather than leave it there. Ooh,
30 seconds
I
remaining.
guess we had
The
our
ring
circle.
is nearby.
Charging battery.
Companions, we're not far from the ring and have 10 seconds to find safe harbor. I can see that the ring's moving on the map. Crafting. Supply bin there on the calming.
Care package being delivered.
I'm crafting. Care package incoming. Does your generation usually require this level of assistance?
Did I do that? Oh shit!
I am taking
Oh shit! God damn!
Where they at?
I'm healing up. I'm healing up.
Whoa, they got his laser snipers. I got hit hard, but I hit some guy on the way out.
Yeah.
Replenishing my shields.
Take that purple one here.
Recharging shields.
We got position. Kinda.
Broken enemy shield.
Two
Third party from behind, above.
Giving my shields a recharge. Recharging my shields. Leave an enemy here. I am taking fire. I have been down.
God damn! Right here. Fuck.
Beginning ring countdown.
He's right behind us.
Shit.
Damn it.
Scrappy DP says, GG.
Attention. There is a new kill leader.
Yeah, Scrappy, I'm gonna go make some food real quick.
All right. Do you need to meet? Are you leaving the party, or you're staying in the party?
I'll stay in the party, but I'm gonna take like 10-15 minutes.
Oh no, then jump out because I'm gonna keep playing.
Alright, bet.
I got your back. Man, let me tell you.
I think we're going to do great, friend.
I can't quite tell, Narcoteers, but that jersey. Oh, come on. Third spot block. Shot split. Narcoteers right here.
This is your champion.
That's not the card, go. Narcoteers right here. Here, I'll let you put it back. Oh, no, I'm the card, not. You know what? Yeah, knock out people. I help you make the right choice in life, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, listen to what she has to say. Pay attention to her needs.
Fusey will catch you when you fall.
Yeah.
I say we let friends.
Yes, sir.
Target spotted.
You take your card back. He's not the one with the card.
Target over there. Beauty of a view, aye. Let's rock and roll.
Here's what finish up the card for George. So you don't want one of our magnets, do you? What is that? It's a magnet we give it. It's a mark of shame for folks who don't take their cards back. Yeah. It's gone. Several years ago. Oh, shit, see? It's like that. You don't want that. Oh, keep it. No. You look. Oh, Raiders fan, of course. And that's that one. I don't think that's straight up a Juggalo jersey, but it's similar. It's clowns and jesters and ducky salad kind of thing that Juggalos wear. And that, people pointed out that, yeah, that is sort of our kryptonite. Rocketeers is the defiant and indignant. Like the person, the lazy bone, I should say, the lazy bone who's just, he's willing to wallow in his own filth. Crack jokes, laugh and titter about how awful they are. And some reference to his girlfriend and the state of his testicles. Really is kryptonite. Rocketeers is just the person who's like, yeah, it's gone. Okay. Because how do you know ahead of time if someone's not going to take their card back? And there are indications. Look at the general kind of scuzziness of these guys. Hell, I've not even heard. You could say, well, don't you judge a book by its cover, card narcs. You get a pretty good head start on its cover. That way the card go. That's a, call it a really 3-spot split. Card returns right over there. Right over that way. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Yeah, you want to get probably 5 spots that way, actually going to go around. But that's a good effort. Way to change the course of human history right there. Actually, judging by that, how's it going? Judging by that cover, I was expecting some downtime, but I didn't get any, so that's good. That's good. You know? Yeah. Gave me my initial impression, but it's never, your fate's never sealed. When it comes to cards, you always have the choice to do the right thing. Thanks, I appreciate it. Alright, my man here in the scrubs, finishing up his loading, and he would be a real scrub, as TLC would say. He didn't put that card right next to him. He's got a plate there, loose plate. What's he gonna do with that? Let's go on over here. Oh, the cart! You guys leave your cart back there? The cart. Is it that right there? You left it there. It belongs to the cart return. Not everybody. Those people didn't do it. So the cart return is a magnet for you. Everybody does it, or else why would there be a dozen carts in the cart return? Goodness gracious. I don't know if I got the magnet. Well, let's see what they get home, guys. Cheers. And oh, will their bum be sore then when you have this nice walkway. Even though there are cart returns all scattered about, people will use the not needing to take their cart out of their own way, and they'll just leave it right there. They'll pre-place it right there. Even though, just thank you. We're not responsible for damages caused by carts, so don't steal carts, but that's actual criminal violation. You can see California state law, but the cart narcs were concerned about just taking that cart, putting it back here with all his buddies, or over there, or over there. And it's not bad. Until we intervene. Cart narcs, you know who we are? You know who the cart narcs are? Yeah.
Yo.
Wait, hold on. Okay. Something else. Wait, what? What are you doing? He already did. Alright. But you don't see me. You said, what's your name, sir? Would you like a sticker? Nerd. That? How you doing, sir? Yes, sir. Don't steal our cars. No, not even steal. Don't leave them out like what? Like leave. There you go. Like, so for instance, let's say
You know what? Yeah, I'm sick of having to move a cart to park my car.
And imagine if you got like a stroller and your mother and you want to move it. But Dad, good job, sir. You guys are doing the right thing. Yeah, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Trust me. I'll look. I'll try to get. I'll see how hard it is. I can do it for you. See how hard it is. But this thing's right in. Well, thank you for doing the right thing, Dad. I'll take care of these. You know, what about those, right? That's the next thing. That's why I would just spread the message. Because again, I can't be here for all these three lazy bones that were here previous. I have to, through the power, hopefully, of social media, using it for good, spread, put that message in people's brain that, hey, I should not have to do this. Not the tears. Well, that's a witness. About you now, something. This guy in the blue shirt, he's gonna get the car all the way around to the entrance of the car return. Well, there's one over there too, obviously. I'm gonna pass it off, maybe have a chance to make a little love connection. No, love connection. Way to go, huh? Maybe not. Really not. Oh well. I feel Gretzky saying, you miss 1,000% of the shots you don't take.
Spawn, that's crazy.
RE45 here.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Attention. First blood.
First blood.
New kill leader appointed. Thank you. New kill leader. Go on, watch out.
Barrel stable. Arcstar here.
Damn, my teammate left. Oh wait, never mind. Okay,
What teammate?
I mean, damn, our teammate is hella laggy, bro.
Nothing I can do about that.
Yavio Clyde 999 says, game is bugging out.
Nah, you good, bro.
Attention. Delivering care package. Got a hop up here. Boosted loader.
Care package coming in.
Back up. Cracking this open. Extended heavy mag here. Level 3. Backpack here. Level 2.
Charging battery.
What the fuck? I'm not Lifeline? What's going on?
Oh no, G. You haven't been the whole game, basically.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I'm high,
Yavio
but
Clyde
this is
999
fuck.
says, nah,
That's
me.
fucked. I know that's me, but you fucking stole my guy. What the fuck?
Did you say you're high right now, bro?
Yeah, I'm playing video games, aren't I?
Damn, bro. I wish. Normally I'd be high right now, but I lost my shit, so kind of sober as fuck. Kind of sad, you know.
Go to the dispensary and get some more. Where you live at? What state?
Careful. Opening the door.
I'm trying to fix it by listening to music.
Found extra supplies here. Arm up. Barrel stabilizer here. Level 3. Let's go that way.
Boy jumping.
Thanks. Half the squad's around. Now keep moving. Let's explore this way. Never mind.
Boy running.
Kill leader, watch your 6. Say what? We're all inside this ring.
Heard that.
Replicator being delivered.
Replicator incoming.
Might be something good this way. Contact.
Heard that.
They're inside the little.
Setting a portal. Portal placed. Enemy shield.
Crack the shield.
Broken. Reloading. Void jumping.
Knocked one.
Enemy down. Reloading.
Kill confirmed. Reloading. I've been down. Taking fire. Hostile right here.
You got him. Push him. Push him. You got him. You got him.
Bitch, he's slow. He's low. Slow. Last one slow. Get me. Oh, get him. Yeah.
Phasing.
What? Alright.
Oh shit! I forgot I'm at lifeline. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
I'm used to me just hitting E and fucking my little droney goes out and he picks you up.
No. I get it. I wasn't mad.
Yabio Clyde 999 says, TF did my Volt go?
Care package coming in.
You dropped your Volt right here, right?
Check out this area.
In that box, in this box here. I don't.
A box?
Volt
it's
SMG
right here.
here.
Cause I don't know how I got that. How did I got his Volt at some point. I don't know how that fucking switched.
Oh wait, maybe it was cause like when you tried to get me, you probably grabbed it. When you tapped E. So yeah, that would make sense.
Well, why would it? Oh shit! I can't heal myself with this. Oh fuck! I'm an idiot. I need some.
Healing up. Eyes are open. Care package over here.
Round 3.
Back tower for us.
Stay one. We're all inside the sphere. Light ammo here.
Where are those fuckers? Oh shit! I see a gunshot came from that way. It was towards Clyde.
Care package over there.
Replicator on. Thank you. Come and get your birthday present.
Got the Evo shield here. Level 3.
I guess I'll take that. There were people over there. Yeah, I don't know why you're going there. Yeah, you're alone.
It's a whole team. I'm gonna just throw my ult at them.
Going to phase.
Cause they're in the open.
Yabio I Clyde 999 says, don't push.
Care package
I'm waiting on them to come to me.
Safety's off. Enemy landed on me. Give me a sec. Recharging shield. Arcstar out.
That's what that's what I meant by the gunshots.
I hit him a lot.
Setting a portal. Another squad's attack. Focus.
Recharging shield.
Reloading. They got me. I'm down. We're inside.
Dude, I just got hit from every different way. 2 different teams. I got 2 by me here.
Hostile patching out here.
Never quit. That's how you win.
Fuck that.
On last week's Broken Silicon, me and Max from High Yield had a long conversation that eventually got to talking about what sort of Zen 5 configuration would excite us most, and therefore be the biggest problem for Intel's Arrow Lake launching next year. That's what my guest Max opined for. Well, he just wanted some sort of R9 8965WX, a dual Zen 5C chiplet product that had a total of 32 cores on AM5, which, yeah, that would be cool for users that want a hyper-efficient 32-core on a platform that isn't nearly as expensive as Threadripper's. But that's not what I specifically wanted. I wanted AMD to combine a Zen 5 X3D chiplet with a Zen 5C chiplet for one above 5 GHz gaming product that could leverage Vcache in said games, but also went up to 24 cores total for incredible multi-threading performance. And actually, I think it's important to point out why this configuration will be a far bigger monster that is easier to schedule for than what we have right now with the R9 7950 X3D. You see, right now, AMD isn't using any of these dense C cores in any of the CCDs on this product. They are using an X3D one and then a bog standard Zen 4 non-C CCD that frequently sees some of the cores boost far higher than what the X3D CCD cores can boost too. And this is a huge problem for scheduling, because right now, all Windows really does with AMD CPUs is constantly dynamically pick the highest boosting core for the most important thread that Windows decides is the most important thread. And that means that products like the 7950 X3D sometimes have an important thread, like one that's maybe running a game, that would actually maybe prefer one of the Vcache cores, but because it's being clocked lower, it incorrectly chooses one of the standard cores and then gets to run the wrong CCD, and performance suffers massively. And conversely, some apps and even some games might actually prefer to just use the fastest clocking cores, and so they'll throw a thread to a slower Vcache core that's on a different CCD, and again, there's massive latency penalties, and that can really affect performance. But AMD has expressly stated that they still think this was the right move with the 7950 X3D, that it was worth it so you could have a higher boosting CCD for higher multi-threading performance, and they believe using the Xbox Game Bar in Windows was a good enough Band-Aid. But what if you didn't need a Band-Aid? What if the CCD that had Vcache was also the fastest clocking CCD, and you weren't losing multi-threading performance because the other CCD that was clocking lower actually had twice as many cores? Wouldn't this solve the entire dilemma without needing an Xbox Game Bar? Theoretically, I think it would, and that is why I personally want AMD to launch an R9 8960 X3D next year as part of the Zen 5 lineup. But can they? Well, that's what I set out to answer after I noticed something very encouraging shown during one of AMD's Zen 4 Epic Hot Chips presentations yesterday that seemed to confirm something very important for the prospects of launching a potential 8960 X3D. After once again quoting something that we've all heard AMD say a million times by now, namely that the cores of Zen 4C are 35% smaller than Zen 4, they seem to finally also confirm that the overall CCD, though, was almost the same size between the C and non-C variants. Now, this is important because this is, well, it's not that it's unexpected, and in fact, this channel was the one that exclusively used Bergamo 2 years ago. And I was always told that Zen 4C CCDs are roughly the same size as Zen 4 CCDs. But roughly can mean a few different things. Some of my sources thought that the Zen 4C CCD with 16 cores instead of 8 cores might only be 5% bigger. Other people thought that it could be up to 30% bigger. And it really does matter. If it's closer to 5%, then there's a chance that this thing fits on an AM5 package just as easily as the non-C CCDs. But if it was 30% bigger, there's no chance you're fitting this on AM5. And well, there have been websites like SemiAnalysis that claim that Zen 4C chiplets were only around 9.7% larger than Zen 4 chiplets, which is about the size difference I want to see to fit these things on AM5. That's not a statement from AMD. And when I looked at this presentation on Hot Chips, man, it seemed to be right about the difference SemiAnalysis claim. You know, dies are not always lined up for exact size comparisons in these presentations. But I just don't think it's a coincidence that they seem to be the exact size difference that SemiAnalysis claimed. And while we had already had pictures of Bergamo online that show the size of CCDs, and well, I'll just be honest, I probably should have just done this a while ago. But now I'm doing it today after seeing this on Hot Chips. If I line up Bergamo and Genoa, yeah, their chiplets don't look that different from each other in size. And in fact, if I draw some of the lines here, yeah, it seems like these chiplets are the same height. Though the Bergamo chiplets are, of course, a little fat, but that's okay, because if we look at the Zen 4 AM5 package, it's the height that seems more important to be the same. If it bulged a little bit down, it looks like it would be fine. And so, guys, at a minimum, I now think I can just confirm you can at least physically fit a Zen 4C chiplet in the same slot you can put a Zen 4 chiplet. However, if we are being honest, that's only half the battle. Just because you can physically fit something in a space does not mean it's supported. After all, as an example, recently this channel exclusively leaked that there is a Navi 3132 hybrid SoC that fits the full Navi 31 GCD and even all 6 MCDs into a smaller package that can fit on like a 7800 XT board should AMD want to launch some special products like, well, for example, the 7900 GRE. However, just because you can fit the Navi 31 configuration in a smaller space on a Navi 32 board does not mean those MCDs work. They don't. They are unsupported in that package. And so just because you can fit a Zen 4C CCD physically on an AM5 package does not mean it will necessarily work. And so, after confirming that this thing should be able to fit physically, I set out to gather data on if, well, the Zen 4 IO die can support Zen 4C, and I want to talk about that and also leak some new exclusive Zen 5 details in Phoenix desktop APU release date information. But first, an ad from a sponsor. Exhausted looking for a safe way to pay reasonable pricing for Microsoft software amongst tons of questionable listings on eBay and shady websites? Well, now you don't have to do this any longer, not if you go to cdkeyoffer.com. This piece of content is brought to you by cdkeyoffer.com and their back to school sale. Whether it's Microsoft operating systems, Office products, or even many of the latest AAA games, cdkeyoffer.com provides PC gamers with a product that I honestly think this community does need in a world where far too many of our components that make up our PCs are getting more expensive every year. The last thing we need is monopolistically priced software to remain on that list of stupid stuff we pay too much for. And you know, the Moore's Law is Dead team has been working with cdkeyoffer.com for many years for a reason. They've been good to me, they've been good to Dan, they've been good to family members that use their website when they build a PC, and they've been good to the Moore's Law is Dead community as well. So whether you're looking for Steam, EA, Uplay, or PlayStation keys, or of course Microsoft products, support Moore's Law is Dead by using the code BROKENSILICON for 25% off all Microsoft products, or Die Shrink for 3% off everything else. Support us at cdkeyoffer.com today. Okay, so we've covered that at least superficially, it seems like you can fit a Zen 4C chiplet on an AM5 package right now, just like you can a Zen 4 or Zen 4 X3D chiplet. But is that even supported by the IO die? Because it's not that simple. You can't just always glue whatever you want together and expect them to work together without explicitly designing these dies to work together in the first place. It's not as easy as gluing things together. This is something that Intel still seems to be learning the hard way. But yeah, for AM5 to support dense chiplets, they would need to have designed them to do so. And well, in the aforementioned Zen 4 Epic presentation, at Hot Chips, representatives from AMD stated,
This is talking about a flexibility option that applies to all 4 of the families. So this picture here is kind of a zoom in of the IO die and the Infinity Fabric, but we can just concentrate on those dark green boxes at the top and bottom. Those are the core chiplets, or we call them CCDs sometimes. Those little green arrows, sorry you can barely see them, but those are the GMI links. Those are high-speed, high-bandwidth interfaces between the core chiplet and the IO die. So the 2 configurations at top is something we've been doing for multiple generations, where we have 1 GMI link per core chiplet, and this is what's been, enabling the large core count improvements over time, yet added great power efficiency. What's new is on the bottom. So these 2 configurations are GMI 3 wide. So now we can take 2 GMI links for a single core chiplet. So whether it's a Zen 4 or a Zen 4C chiplet. So 2 GMI links means twice as much bandwidth into the Infinity Fabric. And what this enables is for a smaller number of core chiplets to max out the DRAM bandwidth in the system. And this gives us more configuration options to fine-tune our products for perf per watt, perf per core, and or form factor.
Now, my understanding is that while Ryzen IO dies currently used in Zen 4 gaming chips have GMI 3, they do not have the same ability to quite as widely provide extra bandwidth to some cores over others in the same way Epic's IO die currently can. But it doesn't really need to, actually, in my opinion. It's only ever going to have 2 memory channels and 2 chiplets anyways, and after I spoke with some of my contacts at AMD and people who work on chip design, the important takeaway is they all seem to confirm that while Epic's IO dies are probably a bit more flexible in how they can provide bandwidth to different types of chiplets, the Ryzen IO die, currently in use by Zen 4, still is an inherently flexible design, meant to support different types of CCDs, and this was actually even backed up later in that same presentation, too.
I think you're asking about the latency to talk. So that is part of the architecture. Again, like I said, the logical abstractions are still the same, and so their interfaces still remain the same.
And actually, once I have these little snippets, quotes, and things from this Hot Chips presentation, I shot it all out to a handful of AMD contacts of mine, and while a few of them remained very guarded about what they would be willing to confirm, a couple of them finally just came out and admitted it. They stated, yep, look, we'll admit it. They're basically saying it now. Ryzen IO die currently in their gaming lineup can support either Zen 4 or Zen 4C. Zen 4 chiplets at will to launch those products, and both contacts, at least right now, don't have evidence this is happening with Zen 4. And to be fair, I actually can make a pretty compelling argument that it didn't even make sense for AMD to bother launching some hybrid design with Zen 4 until, well, really until Zen 5's ready anyways. You see, when Zen 4 launched in late last year, well, Bergamo was still far away from being ready, so I don't even think they could have launched an 8+16 or 32-core Zen 4C variant last year. They probably couldn't until, well, this summer. But on this summer, Bergamo is going to need all of those chiplets to itself to fulfill Epic contracts. So financially, it just doesn't make any real sense to do that. And on top of all of this, well, when Zen 4 launched, they had problems supporting DDR5 above 6,000 speeds, and that probably would have held back the performance of any 32 or probably even any 24-core Zen 4 plus Zen 4C model they could have launched, and oh, but would you look at that? All of a sudden, probably less than half a year before Zen 5 launched the desktop, AMD's gotten DDR5 8000 support working, and I just don't think that's a coincidence. I don't think they had Zen 4C chiplets ready for the initial launch, so it didn't come out last year, and then when they were ready, it was much more important to use them for Bergamo, and that's when they got to work, even supporting enough bandwidth for it to make sense to launch this type of product anyways, and now they have it. And in fact, if you look at testing from Buildzoid, it seems like the support is there and it totally works, but it doesn't really benefit Zen 4 at all. I don't think it's a coincidence. I think we're seeing these new updates to support faster DDR5 because these are early side effects of AMD preparing to launch Zen 5 by early next year, possibly with higher core counts.
We're getting third-partied.
And you know, I will say this. Well, I do think Zen 5 may up core counts, maybe by implementing dense C chiplets on the AM5 platform. I don't actually think the overall packages are going to look that different from what Zen 4 looks like. It is my opinion, therefore, that if you're not really getting anything that looks different, it's just that the architecture itself has been fundamentally redesigned, like Zen 2 to Zen 3 and Zen 3 to Zen 4, not like Zen 1 to Zen 2, then if Zen 4 can support mixing various dense and non-dense chiplets on AM5, I would be almost 100% sure that Zen 5 can as well. And yeah, I actually backed this up with some schematics I just received today from one of my best AMD sources. And well, I unfortunately do think it is way too dangerous to show the architectural diagrams for Zen 5 next to Zen 4 on screen here. It's definitely one of my sources. What I will tell you all today is that it basically just backs up everything I've said in Zen 5 leak after Zen 5 leak after Zen 5 leak after Zen 5 leak. All of those leaks together that have come out this year, not much is really changing, but I did, in documentation, see proving of some things I've been talking about. So I thought I'd put a card on screen right now just to tell you what I can extra confirm
Can
today.
you let me be fucking...
The first thing I can confirm, which was already leaked in recent content out of this channel, is that DDR5 5600 or higher is clearly listed for Zen 5 Turing. This is 16.7% faster than Genoa, and we just saw that Zen 4 can already support up to DDR5 8000 after recent updates. So I have no problem stating that it is my opinion, after seeing this documented again, that Zen 5 will support at least DDR5 7200 at its base for desktop, or at a minimum, it'll be supportable. I don't know if that'll be the default clock, but you'll be able to do it fairly easily, and it would not surprise me if like 8000, 8400, even DDR5 9000 was supported by Zen 5 on desktop as well. Additionally, I have now further proof that Turin's IO die supports up to 16 CCDs. Turin standard, I can have a diagram showing how standard 100% has 16 8-core CCDs for Zen cores. But there is something interesting I noticed on one of the IO diagrams. An omission that they cannot use at least 16 Zen 5C chiplets, which, if they could, would go up to 256 cores. And this is worth stating because the sister documentation I have for Zen 4 EPYC explicitly states that Bergamo cannot use more than 8 CCDs with the Zen 4 EPYC IO die. The Zen 5 documentation does not say this. And so I'm just always, whether they ever confirm it or not, people, going to have a suspicion that if AMD unveils a 192 Zen 5C product, that they could, if they really wanted to, have launched a 256-core variant. And I'd also heard years ago that was the goal. My suspicion, if AMD does not launch a 256-core Turin, is that it's going to be because of bandwidth limitations, like they just don't have enough memory channel speed for it to be worth it. Maybe they're still testing it. Maybe they're still seeing, can we get higher than 56 as the default speed on EPYC? If we can, maybe we should go up to 256 cores. That, if they don't though, it's because of that, bandwidth limitations, power consumption limitations, or thermal issues. But it does make me wonder. It does make me wonder seeing this diagram. Again, next to a Zen 4 diagram, it clearly states that Bergamo is limited in how many CCDs it can have. I do not see that on the Zen 5 diagram. I'm gonna keep wondering whether they announce it or
I don't know
not
why this doesn't let me play fucking Lifeline.
AMD is hiding a 256
Hello,
monster, just like I
Lifeline.
believe they are hiding an R9 8960 X3D monster for desktop. And I guess the other thing I will leak from the documentation I've seen recently is that at least the EPYC, it's not Ryzen, but the EPYC IO die seems to have some upgrades to the FCLK and even more flexibility in supporting different chiplet types just in general. Combined with what my sources are telling me about Ryzen 8000 products, I really do believe that they are going to be every bit as flexible as Ryzen 7000, which I've already stated earlier in this video, I think can support Zen 4C chiplets on AM5. And if there is a new IO die, I think they could do wild things on AM5. Although to be fair, I actually don't have any proof that there is a new IO die for Zen 5 on AM5. Now, for a while, or really should I say a while ago, I heard that there was a consideration to have a new, slightly improved IO die for Zen 5, and I still think there could be, like maybe RDNA 3.5, a small AI engine, I don't know, but I still don't have proof that AMD is using a new IO die. Now, first of all, I don't think that really matters. I believe that the IO die that's being used right now with Zen 4 will be more than enough to support enough bandwidth after recent updates with the ACHISA to support a 24-core monster called the 8960 X3D. So I don't think it should really be consequential whether they use a new IO die or not. I don't think that will be important for the core performance. If anything, it'll just be a few new features. But I still have to say this too, I don't have proof either way. And so don't take this as me saying one way or another if there's a new IO die. And in fact, there was a recent leak out there covered by a few websites that I think misinterpreted potentially what AMD was talking about in a recent webinar. The reason I think there was some misinterpretations is because I don't think a lot of these journalists even bothered to watch the webinar they were quoting for their articles, which is unfortunately very commonplace in this industry. And, well, I did take at least 10 minutes to watch it, as I would think anyone who has self-respect or integrity would do. And if you watch it, the person at AMD actually says this.
And best of all, it's entry, right? So you're going to have multiple different generations of CPUs that are going to drop into this infrastructure. Phoenix will be the next generation. After that, we'll have Granite Rapids leveraging the Zen 5.
Call me crazy, but I could interpret what she said to mean that now AM5 server products, and then after that there would be a server variant based on Phoenix, and then after that a server variant on AM5 based on Zen 5, and then possibly that RDNA or Navi 3.5 thing that was shown there, that might just be referencing Strix, just like it kind of seems like it could be referencing Phoenix right now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but if you watch the video, that's kind of what that sounds like to me.
This guy's hurt over here.
Chance of what they confirmed. And in fact, I also noticed that she said...
There's another one on the stairs. Another one on the stairs.
Not Granite Ridge. And so there's an error right
The other
there.
one's hurt down below. He's
Just
healing.
a mistake on the slide in general. And, well, the only thing I can confirm, though, is that I lined up the current link with the presentation with her face, and that slide's been changed. So clearly AMD thinks they either screwed up by leaking something they didn't want to leak, or they screwed up because there was a typo. In fact, the only thing that I feel comfortable concluding as a leak from this webinar is that it seems like AMD just double confirmed
I got a drone
that
for you, buddy.
Phoenix is coming to desktop between Zen 4 and Zen 5 product launches, which, to be fair, I already leaked it as Zen 5 leak anyways. And, you know, just in general, when AMD had some roadmap that says something, you always got to be a little careful about what you can draw from that roadmap as 100% confirmation. I think roadmaps are best to be thought of as
I think originally there
what
were
they're
2 teams.
Possibly planning to
then
do,
turned into
can
one.
do. Not what they will do, and not what they can do at the maximum. It just shows this is something they can do. They may have other stuff.
So the other
that's
team
done.
wasn't a full team
Like,
and they bailed.
I leaked a roadmap that shows up to 16 cores of Granite Ridge professional server products. Just because that roadmap says up to 16 cores doesn't mean it's not just because AMD doesn't want people to catch wind that they could launch up to 32 cores on AM5, nor that they may just not be sure they want to waste any of those chiplets on it when they could be selling them in Epic products instead. And, well, then all we can really say at the end of this video is really 2 things. It's up to AMD if they launch this monster, but this monster, the 8960 X3,
Y'all got the R2020 and
whether the
E8.
roadmap show it or not, I'm confident saying it is possible for them to launch this. And that, well, that 8 big core, 32 little core Arrow Lake product I leaked does sound devastating, even if it's missing hyperthreading. You gotta remember that that 40 core, 40 thread configuration won't be ready for Zen 5 when that comes out. Zen 5, based on the roadmap side, seeing could be launching a full year before the 44 Arrow Lake configuration. And with Zen 5, unlike with Zen 4, it seems that the dense C cores are ready at the same time. So before Intel even launches an 8 plus 16 Arrow Lake, there's a chance AMD may already have 8 plus 16, so think about that, 48 thread products on the market before Intel even has their 24 thread products on the market. And well, I have leaked that Arrow Lake should bring at least 30 to 40% higher single threading, and that 40 core variant, when it eventually comes out, should bring 40 to 60% higher multi-threading. I don't know. I've leaked Cinebench scores. Guys, at a minimum, Zen 5 is going to have probably 25% higher single threading, and I think it could get as high as 35%. That's not IPC, that's single threading total. And that's with them having a core count advantage on top of it. And that's before we even talk about the V-Cache models that could launch before the 40-core Arrow Lake is even out. And I just find it hard to believe that even if Arrow Lake looks impressive, it will be able to decisively defeat, at best I think it would trade blows with this lineup I'm showing on screen, where AMD can launch 24 cores and lower at the beginning of next year if they want to, and then when Arrow Lake comes out, they can launch the V-Cache models. So look, I'll say it one more time. I cannot promise you that AMD is going to think it's financially worth it to launch some Vcache Zen 5C combo 24-core monster next year. But what I am sure of, and I hope you're now sure of after watching this video, is that whether they launch this product or not, somewhere out there, somewhere in AMD's labs, there is a monster waiting for Intel. And that is going to just about do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you like it, that you ring the bell button, that you support the sponsor if you need any of their products, and that you consider joining the Moore's Law is Dead Patreon. You'll get early ad-free access to Broken Silicon, which I do want to say, nope, it did not come out today. I was working super hard on this video. There's also been live coverage of Hot Chips for the past few days in the Moore's Law is Dead Discord, eating up my time and my contributors' time. And also Dan is about to finish up defending his thesis in Drive to Nashville. And, well, that's important. And we were willing to both delay the episode for Hot Chips coverage and delay the episode for Dan's schedule. So, yep, that Broken Silicon should be coming out either tomorrow or maybe Thursday. But it's coming out a bit late for a few reasons. But if you want a Moore's Law podcast, featuring kids, Die Shrink, it's an exclusive podcast, and one came out a few days ago. So that's there. If you support us for just $2 a month, you'll get that. Other exclusive ad-free content every month, and the ability to ask guest questions, talk with me and other people on the Moore's Law is Dead Patreon with thousands of people that I'm sure would love to speak with you. But no matter what, you made it this far. So thank you for watching.
Oh damn, oh damn, oh damn. Damn, that kind of shit.
Hello everyone, this is your Daily Bits of MRL.
I was thinking about doing some unban appeals myself today. Just a couple. Bro, I'm fucking the last time unban appeals, where the fuck did I see this? Oh yeah, there was a threat because someone brought up someone who's not around anymore in their unban thing, and there was like a thread about it because people thought it was funny. And in the comments, people were like, she bans people for the stupidest shit. Like these streamers are just taking her money, and the only people that I usually deny are either people who are saying about my friends, or just crazy, or saying like, pop your titty out. Like, am I just a bad narcissistic person for not wanting that in my chat? I don't understand. Alex is crazy.
Oh my god, I should have never gone to that fight.
Friend, and he said, "Pull hands, please." My sister typed this when I was AFK. Hope you actually believe me, because I'm sure you get tons of these kinds of unban requests. Your sister. Does anyone believe her? Make a new account. It's fine. Okay. That was very inappropriate, and I am sorry. I was all horned up watching Sasha Grey play Lost Ark, and got lost myself. No excuse for harassment, especially at your place of work. I apologize on behalf of all men. No, it's important for all men. Not every man does that. Not all men, but somehow always a man. Pokemon 2022. Okay, so this is a Dark Souls viewer, I can see. Yeah, I just really enjoyed the Souls game. Happy birthday, Charlie! That is my actual birthday. Sometimes making cakes looks good too. I would love to eat your cake pops. Surely it was about the food. While I say food comments, that's all I said. I feel like this could be a misunderstanding. Like, look, he's like pretty normal. Like, look normal. Wow, Wrath of the Lich King, Smash Bros, Elden Ring, Kirby. He called me Emmy-chan. I mean, I'll give him a second chance because it could have been a misunderstanding, you know? And then if he does it again, then, you know, so it's fine. Nice titties. Do you not agree with my comment? like how Allie just puts commentary on all these. This is from July. Show belly, show belly. Unnecessary, come on, I'll be extra PG. Is this I don't know. Oh, hi, Tips. Tips, he was asking me, I politely declined. Why does having Tips here during unbanned appeals feel like I'm, like, doing something I shouldn't be doing? Tips, there's something bad going on here! Nick, tell Melena she's beautiful for me. Melena, can I reserve a date with you in the future? I got permission to get your Snapchat, Emmy. From who? Who gave who? I don't deserve a ban for what I've said above. Would appreciate you can unban me with 2 exclamation marks. This is just... Oh god. Watch the bot and tell me Missy Wind has phenomenal thighs. Whoever banned me is jealous and delusional. I regret nothing. Furthermore, I want to say that I understand how this last statement can be misunderstood.
That.
When in fact the monitor is a 60 Hz VA display that, while fine for playing games, lacks important gaming-centric features that could be easily had for the same price, making it a poor choice. Action video replaced if possible according to YouTube policy, otherwise set unlisted.
God, I'm not dealing with that right now.
I really thought the Try Guys drama between Nid.
I'm not dealing with that.
So you're looking to shop for a graphics card, but you've no idea where to start. There's a lot to sift through, and I'm going to try my best to condense this into a 10-minute or less video. There's going to be a lot of data to unpack. I'm going to be very blunt with you, very direct about what I would and wouldn't entertain both in the new and used markets. Hopefully you find this one useful. Are you ready? Stay with me. To get rid of that annoying Windows activation watermark, head on over to VIP SCDP. Purchase a Windows 10 Pro OEM key for a fraction of the price of retail. Just use a secure payment method like PayPal, enter your product key in your PC settings window, and save the back of the watermark. And be sure to use our offer code SKGS for a sweet discount. Say you're jumping into this whole thing only interested in new cards. I think, my friends, that is your first mistake. You sure about that? There are a couple of cards that I think are definitely worth considering, and they are right here. This is the AMD Radeon RX 6600, and I think it is hands down the best value new graphics card you can buy today at around $200. You start getting closer to $250, $275, I think that value starts to diminish quite a bit. Maybe look at something like a 6700 or 6750 XT, but this is a heck of a start and a great value option if you're interested in something around $1,000 or less for a total build budget. They're going to be extremely power efficient, this one only requiring a supplemental 8-pin, and as a result, they also run quite cool. This particular model has 0 coil line. In fact, the few 6600s I have tested haven't had coil line at all. I think it's just a result of it being a lower power card, but overall, an excellent choice if you have to buy new. The other card worth considering is an RX 6750, which fits as a Sapphire branded model, and it's beautiful. It's a very thick card, almost a 3-slot card, so be careful about fitting into some of these higher tiered units. This is going to pack a punch in up to 1440p in modern titles. My rule of thumb for these is somewhere around the $300 price range. You can find these for about $325, a beefier model like this with 3 fans, right? This is probably going to be worth it, although if you can't find a good deal on one of these, you can also find 6700s and 6700 XTs for under $300. This is a phenomenal value, I think, and I would personally choose this over the 6600 I just showed you for about $220 or so. Yeah, that's all I have. Just these 2 cards and their permutations. It's really about it that I recommend. Honorable mentions to maybe the A750, A770 if you want to jump into the Intel ring, but they're not my first choices just because the drivers are still a bit young, and it definitely shows. AMD's worked out their drivers for the 6000 series stuff for sure, much more stable than they have been historically, and same goes for the 7000 series stuff. Now I know as of time of filming, the 7800 and the 7700 I believe were just announced. Those do look compelling, the 7800 in particular, but if you're just looking for a solid 1440p or below gamer and value is of a huge concern to you, these are very tried and true. They're still very efficient. This is really it. There's nothing from NVIDIA that I would really recommend. You might get lucky and find, say, an RTX 3060 or something like that for maybe $200 to $250, but there's still a premium. There's still a green tax on a lot of those cards, even though the 3060 is a generation old now. It's just not wetting the palate enough. So stay clear of that for the most part. New and go with Team Rocket. Welcome to the used listings, and my friends, you've come to the right place. At first glance, what you're about to see might seem overwhelming, but I can assure you it's actually very straightforward. We just have so many graphics cards crammed into one bar chart here that it feels a bit cluttered. The few other charts that I have for this video, don't worry. But in essence, what you're looking at here are a number of graphics cards, I think 64 of them. On the far left, you'll find the most recent cards that were released in terms of their launch dates, the RTX 3060 Ti being the most recent card that we started gathering data for a few years ago. And off to the far right, the oldest cards, things like the R9 290, 290X, the GTX 780, and the original Titan. The two colors I want you to pay most attention to are the green and blue. For obvious reasons, this is the most relevant data to us, the most recent. You can see there have been significant jumps across the board, the implied value between this time last year, roughly, and the present day, almost doubling in value in some cases, which would suggest that the prices of almost every one of these cards in this graph have been cut in half. Our scores that we're using are all the same. They've been constant. Of course, we expect them to change over time as drivers mature and whatnot, but I've kept the scores the same for all of these charts over the years. We gather this data from 3D Mark Time Spy. I have more explanations on how we calculate these value figures in those videos. If you want to check them out, I think up top here to the left, you'll find a card for one of those if you want to dive deep into the data. But for now, I want to call out a few SKUs in particular that should definitely be on your radar if you're interested at all in buying a used card. Again, there are so many great value used cards on sites like eBay today. The first, off to the far left, you'll find an RX 5600 XT with a value score of 75.91. This suggests that for the performance in the card you're getting, these are great deals at their current going rates on eBay. This card is currently selling, believe it or not, for around $100 US on average on eBay, and that is just insane. For starters, this card can pull its own weight definitely in 1080p and even some light 1440p with a lot of modern AAA titles. Just again, expect to scale back some in-game settings a bit. But overall, this card outperforms anything above it, including the RTX 3070 right now and the RX 6800, both of which are going to be better performers, but worse values when you take into account what they're currently selling for. RTX 3070s are okay at around 400-ish USD, but considering you're paying a quarter of the price for 5600 XT that performs about half as good, you can see where that is. So 5600 XT is definitely a quarter of the price for for 5600 XT that performs about half as good. You can see where that huge jump in value originates. So 5600 XT is definitely where I would start. At $100, it's pretty difficult to find anything better than that is even remotely modern on this chart. Honorable mentions for cards released around the same time frame, though, are the RX 5500 XT, although this card is admittedly a lot weaker, the RX 5700 XT, and the RX 5700. I'm sure you're starting to see a theme here. Now, if you're a Team Green diehard and you're not going to look at anything other than NVIDIA cards, I think the 1660, 1660 Ti's are great SKUs at these prices. You can find them for around 100 to 125 bucks. Interestingly enough, the 1660 Ti, at least as of time of recording this data, sale data to eBay, was selling for about $25 less on average. These prices are all around the $25 mark, mind you. The RTX 2080 Super is also an interesting proposition. This card, of course, supports ray tracing and DLSS thanks to Turing Force. Now, for some of the highest values on this chart, you'll notice that most of them tend to lean toward the right a bit, with the exception of maybe the 5600 XT, and this indicates that they are older models. And I understand older cards might be turn off to some of you. After all, cards like this GTX 1050, which you can find on eBay all day, dirt cheap, mind you, have shorter lifespans. I mean, you can expect these cards to die faster than their newer counterparts. That's always a risk And that ignores the fact that a lot of these cards were likely mined with at one point or another. I wouldn't buy a 1050 anyway, though. At least according to our data, 1050s and 1050 Ti's, despite them appearing like crazy deals because they're so cheap, they just don't pack a ton of performance, which means the value suffers as a result. The cards that are most noteworthy in the value department are going to be the RX 570 and 580, which should really be a surprise to many. Same goes for the 470 and 480, and oddly enough, the R9 Fury, which I really didn't see coming, but for some reason these were selling on average for around $50 on eBay, which is nuts. This puts the value almost over 100, which I've never seen before. It's awfully close to that. It is a significantly older card. Yes, they do run very hot, but if you can find a beefy triple fan model or something, I mean, it's not the end of the world. You can still game in 1080p with this, no problem. But I've got to say at this point, even though we have data going back further than the R9 Fury in terms of release date, I wouldn't buy anything older than this. I mean, it's really difficult to even justify an R9 Fury for any modern rig unless you just want to build something and have it up and running for a few weeks, maybe, and I don't know. You're just on a really tight budget. You can't really buy anything newer that is a decent performer. So you're willing to take that astronomical risk in terms of longevity. But anything older than this is just so old that you're really not going to be able to see any real performance out of it anyway with any modern title. I mean, the 980 Ti is okay, around 77 or so. That value is pretty good, but behind the 980 Ti, you start getting cards like the GTX 780s and things that have like 3 gigs of VRAM. I wouldn't go for anything under 4 gigs of VRAM in 2023. Like, even 4 is really close for 1080p, and it's in some cases not going to be enough. But if you're on a budget, you want to spend $50 or $100 on a card, who cares if that's 4 or 6 gigs of VRAM? 4 will be just fine as long as you manage your expectations. But yeah, anything earlier than R9 Fury is it's just a little too old for me to really take seriously at this point. You'll find AMD cards, for the most part, both in the used market and the new market, at the upper end of some of those values. But if you are an NVIDIA diehard and you want something older, the GTX 1070 and 1080s have been historically great value cards in the used market. Today, they're not as great of values. You can find 1070s for around 100, 125-ish USD, and GTX 1080s are right above that. Both of these SKUs have 8 gigs of VRAM apiece, so it's fine for modern 1080p gaming. And this, again, for NVIDIA, it's about as old as I would be willing to go. You do have things like the GTX 950, the GTX 960, 970s, but you really start pulling back in terms of VRAM and just the sheer ages of those cards puts me off of it. And what the heck, while we're here, let's talk about some of the worst value cards in this chart. If for whatever reason you were suddenly attracted to a GT710, please don't. Same goes for the Titan cards. Pretty much every Titan card in this chart is going to have a Titan pack, so pay anywhere between 50 and 100% above what you should be in terms of performance for a Titan card, simply because of the Titan naming. Unless you are dead set on having a Titan card flexed to your friends, like super old Titan cards, just stay away from them. Another card worth noting is the RTX 3090. This is one of the few 30 series cards that really hasn't shot up in value lately, and it's because I think there's still more of a demand for these. Few of them were manufactured, of course, just because they're more expensive. But on top of that, I think the VRAM requirements for a lot of the AI processing and 3D modeling running into nowadays is keeping these cards in fairly high demand, at least on the productivity side of things. The Radeon 7 is also interesting. With a value under 30, it is one of the worst values in this chart. It's not a card I would ever personally go after anyway. I'm not just like building a system thinking, you know what? A Radeon 7 would be a pretty good card to throw in here. Like, it was never a popular card necessarily to begin with, and I think there are so few of them, it might be like a cold following or something around these models. You just, anytime you have one listed for sale, they get bid up a few times, and the price just, in my opinion, isn't worth it, especially considering what you get that's a lot newer today. Now, piggybacking off what I just said about 3090s and more VRAM, I made it a point to buy this because you shouldn't. I paid $700 for this. That really hurts to say. Again, unless you can justify the higher VRAM amount. For most games, it's not going to matter. Okay, it's just not. Having 24 gigs of VRAM would be nice to brag about to your friends, but are you really going to use it? To answer yourself that question. Otherwise, buy a 4070 or 4070 Ti. I hate to say it, even though I can't really get behind those parts from value perspectives either, I think they are better deals, seeing as though this is a used card and those aren't. Those are brand new. They're going to have applied warranties.
This I'm kind of just left to my own devices. Spent a lot of money to risk on a used card like this. If you're shopping for your next power supply, look no further than Intermax's Revolution DFX units. With their high static pressure, 6-pole motor fans, and patented self-cleaning technology, enjoy peace of mind from a PSU built with safety and durability at the forefront. And of course, each unit's built for the latest generation of graphics cards with up to 2 12-volt high power lines, each with optional 8+8 to 12+4 for additional expansion. Revolution DFX is ATX 3.0 and PCIe 5.0 ready, super compact, fully modular, and ready to rumble. Find them in wattages up to 1600 by clicking the link below. Hopefully then you found this video helpful. My goal is just to make this as smooth a shopping and buying experience as possible. I don't want you to overpay for things. There's still a lot of overpriced listings, especially on eBay, so be diligent. I want you to be confident in what you're spending money on here. Also, I'm going to do my best to have the raw data shown in this video linked below. So I'll have the raw Excel sheet that you can reference as you're shopping to ensure that you're paying what you should be paying for a card, at least if you value. With that, I'm going to get out of here. Consider subscribing, liking the video, join our public Discord server. If you want to support us on Patreon, that would be greatly appreciated. And I'll catch you in the next one. My name is Greg. Thanks for learning.
Really stopped them in their tracks. Could be a chance to break here.
How do I change my Twitch chat? How do I change my Twitch chat so in the background is white?
Oh, white mode? Yeah, I think you have to go to settings. Light mode is the best mode.
Make it 20.
It has to be like an overall like Twitch settings, I believe. So, account settings.
Well, couldn't keep it.
Oh, right. There you go. Perfect.
Oh, he looks threatening. Well, he made that interception look routine. In truth, it wasn't.
Excuse me, sir.
Di
Could you
Maria.
shoot the upper? Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. Thank you.
It's with Dybala.
All right. Do you think she's gonna make it, y'all?
Very talented.
I love the dribbling skills. It's fantastic. Yeah. Okay. Oh, she's so. All right. Do you think she's gonna make? Yes. Shoot the upper. Yes. Oh my God. Thank you. All right. Do you think she's gonna make it, y'all?
Very talented.
I love the dribbling skills. It's fantastic. Yeah, all right. Oh, she's going for it. Oh,
Start a little
close.
Emily, get a little closer.
And the counter looks on here. Options available. Will he play it in? Fantastic work to thwart the danger.
Good morning, I think it's Tuesday. So listen, I've got some big news, but first I just took the most magnificent bath. Like, I don't want to be hyperbolic, but I consider myself something of an expert in baths. I've taken a bath most days of my life, and this is the greatest soap I have ever encountered. Alright, hold on, I gotta take the kids to school. But right, the news. So hey, when you got cancer, I became the reluctant and temporary CEO of DFTBA.com, an e-commerce company that connects fans to creators like the McElroy brothers or Kurzgesagt, and also makes the awesome socks, coffee clubs, and sunbathing soap. The clubs then donate 100% of their profit to charity, and so far, we've raised over...
Great.
Martinez. The danger not over. So a goal kick is what's coming up here. And on the verge of hearing the half-time whistle, and they've mostly silenced the home crowd. Stuart, interested to get your take.
Well, it's been a lively first half, hasn't it?
The Joe Rogan experience.
A family was able to make so much money. How much money did they make in total? I mean, if you Google their value, it's between 10 and 20 billion reported. Nobody knows exactly. What?
you streaming that too? I'm also streaming. I'm have you looked at stream like 4,000 hours to like YouTube? Yep. Still coming there. And I think that's just
Wait, what?
This is something of an emotional battle.
Put 4,000 plus hours in viral series. Have you never downloaded it? Well, no, but you didn't download it. No, yeah, I didn't. Okay, so on Discord, I can take Emily and Tristan.
Nice to meet you.
So ping me on, and are you streaming somewhere now? Yeah.
What is up, all you goofy goobers? Welcome back to the channel. Another story sent to us by all of you guys out there. Our DMs are always open, and this is one of the crazy... Oh, howdy. Hi there. What's up, peeps? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about Clayster, a great interview with the Stocksman. You guys should go check it out. He's been interviewing a lot of Call of Duty players out there, and a lot of interesting points made by someone like Clayster. Had the pleasure of talking to him about a couple of years ago in our own personal interview. And, well, some great questions asked, as Clayster himself says that Call of Duty ain't COD anymore. I think something that a lot of you guys and a lot of pro players would actually agree with. Says, you know, it's like an arcade shooter, but it ain't Call of Duty. What's your favorite game, I guess, right now? Besides COD.
Woo! COD has to be my favorite.
Really?
I mean, it's just COD ain't COD anymore. COD is like this weird thing we play now that's like an arcade shooter, but it's not Call of Duty anymore. It's something different now, something. But right now, Valorant's probably my favorite game.
What I gotta pick at that a little bit. I gotta pick at that a little bit right there. What makes it, like you said, arcade shooter? What was the change? At what point did you see the change? What was it?
I think that in the past, you used to be able to outplay people. Like, you could be better than someone else in COD. I feel like nowadays, it's especially gotten to the point where it's kind of just random now. Like, the spawns don't make sense, the guns are easy to shoot, positioning doesn't really matter, people can map you, like, it's RNG, like, it's random at this point. Like, I feel like COD, beforehand, you could outposition somebody or a team all game and just, like, literally always be ahead and just win. But now they'll spawn out behind you. Now they'll just map you across the map with a sub. Now they'll, like, you know, there's just so much cheese. Like, they have dead silence, you have a trophy system. You can't move around the map, they can. Like, it's not even anymore. I feel like COD used to be even. Like it used to be like a level playing field, but now it's like everybody can shoot the gun straight. The spawns don't make any sense. They're just all over the place, and it's just RNG. Like it's like a coin flip.
When did you notice the flip? You've played for a long time, you know.
A long time.
Well, I don't want to put an age on you, okay?
15 years is about how long I've been playing Call of Duty.
Right.
Professionally for about
13 years, 15 years playing the game. At what point do you think you saw the shift?
I would say Black Ops 3 was probably like one of the last real games we had. I think obviously there's games like World War II, like Cold War, that people like kind of went back to it a little bit. But I still think overall, since Black Ops 3 onward, it's really not been COD.
And really go on to say, you used to be able to predict some things, right? There was that skill gap of some sort of predictability. You could read your opponents, and now it seems to be much more RNG-based, trying to give everyone as much of a chance as possible. Now, I would imagine he's talking about multiplayer. I don't know about the competitive / esports side of things. Certainly that has changed as the Call of Duty franchises have changed year in and year out. But Clayster also does give due credit to the fact that Call of Duty has changed their titles year in and year out. Later in this podcast, he actually says, hey, you know what? I think a brand new Call of Duty each and every year is actually beneficial to the esport. It just sucks when we have a bad Call of Duty that we have to play for an entire year. Also, it can suck when you have a good Call of Duty and only get to play it for a single year. But he says, with a short attention span, I would imagine, that's an assumption, as a Call of Duty fan, it's nice seeing a new game every single year because it brings a bit of a resurgence at the start of every year to the competitive scene, which I oddly agree with him on that. And I feel like the fact that Call of Duty has become more random, Call of Duty is not Call of Duty anymore, I don't know, man. Call of Duty has always been made for the casual gamer. It's always felt similar to me. I just enjoyed it less and less over time, so I would like to pick his brain more on exactly what he means on that as well. But it is interesting because I feel like there has to ultimately be there's an end of the road, right, with Call of Duties. We are how many Call of Duties in? At what point do I just get tired of the game? But we all keep on coming back. Although Call of Duty is not Call of Duty, like my Call of Duty is MW2. One of your guys' Call of Duty might be BO1, BO2, BO3. You can leave a comment down below. You guys always defer with me on that one. But Call of Duty has not been Call of Duty for me since those days, but I still play. You know, what the frick is it? But Clayster says Call of Duty ain't Call of Duty anymore, and I think I actually understand where he's coming from, because if you guys watch him on stream, he plays tons of other games that I love watching him play. Like, the dude is a gamer. He'll play MMOs, he'll play shooters, he'll play anything, story mode games too, so go check him out. Clayster saying COD ain't COD. What do you guys think? And will Call of Duty ever be Call of Duty again? Huh? Till next time, drink up, water, coffee. You guys already know. Bye-bye.
Welcome to my unboxing. I have been shooting with 360 cameras now for quite a number of years, and I have loved doing it. Not because it's the greatest quality in the world necessarily, but because of all the options that it opens up to you as far as where are you going to put the camera? How are you going to move the camera? What's the final composition going to look like? Up until now, the benefits of 360 were generally relegated to being on land. That all changes here with the all-new Insta360 Invisible Dive Case. Today's video is going to be a bit of a deep dive. We're going to talk about Insta360's all-new Invisible Dive Case for the X3 360 camera. I don't even think I can put that in the video. People will be very mad. They say, use a normal-sized table, you idiot. You might be thinking, isn't the X3 already waterproof? And it is, down to like 30-something feet, I believe. And for a lot of types of filming, that's going to be just fine for you. If you're jumping off a cliff or just like in the rain, worried it's going to get wet, it's going to be awesome. However, there is a problem that happens to all lenses and cameras when you take them underwater. And this is something that happens to the light, and it's called refraction. Light doesn't behave underwater the same way it does in the air, and so you're going to end up with this magnification that makes everything look a bit bigger. When it comes to 360 video, we're relying on each of those two lenses to capture a little bit more than 180-degree field of view. That way, in that overlap, the camera can stitch each lens together, giving us the full 360 degrees. Watch how much closer these swimmers appear when you're underwater versus above water. Now imagine that with the 360 camera, and imagine your 360 stitch line is broken. But thankfully, Insta360 made this.
Sloppy pass. De Bruyne, he's in behind.
What makes the design of this dial case so special and unique is that it acts as an additional lens element for your 360 camera. So it redirects the light back onto the sensor the way it would have above water, canceling out the effects of refraction. And so that leaves us with all of the benefits of 360 photo and video, but just underwater. That means incredible stabilization, the ability to reframe in post, and particularly unique with the invisible dive case now is that invisible selfie stick. That means you can get these magical third-person views all by yourself. On a normal action camera, if you wanted to get a selfie shot of yourself, it would end up looking something like this, even with stabilization, so it's not ideal. When it comes to handling the footage from the X3 in the invisible dive case, the process is the same as it is on land. You can either use their mobile app on your phone, or you can use my preferred method, which is the desktop Insta360 Studio app. Now, in their apps, you have the option to keyframe and reframe your shots, or to apply tracking to make it do the motion for you. And now, specifically with the invisible dive case, they have Aquavision 2.0, and this is just going to help get rid of a lot of that bluey, greeny hue that's going to wash through all of your footage when you're filming underwater, making it look more natural. I don't know if you can see this, but it's so hot out. Christoph and I flew down to Mexico in order to, well, test out the dive case, but really, the rate. We came down here to try and swim with turtles and hopefully sharks and test the waters of freedom.
Well, a wasted opportunity. It would have been a decent chance, but offside the decision. Plenty of support here.
So when it comes to underwater filming or photography, I really can't think of a better tool for the job right now than the X3 and the invisible dive case. So if you want, there is a link in my description where you can check out the all-new dive kit if you don't already own an X3, so that's going to give you the camera, the invisible dive case, the floating handle, a selfie stick, some other accessories, but specifically, if you click the link in my description, you're going to get an extra battery thrown in there as well. So I would suggest using that link. I'm also pretty sure it's an affiliate link, so that helps me out. And I like when you think.
Argentina have lost this game. Well, that wasn't part of the script as far as their fans are concerned. Stuart, your assessment.
Well, Derek, it was a half-court contest, which neither side completely dominated, but the result will certainly hurt.